The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. The penultimate round did not disappoint at the American Cup in St. Louis. It was win or go home for a shot at the title, and players brought their A game. It was the rematch of the roommates, and Wesley so exacted revenge for his first loss by sending his longtime friend home on his way to the final round. Same story new year as Alice Lee advances to the Women's Championship after winning the elimination bracket for the third year in a row. The challengers have earned their second chance, but it's an uphill battle against two undefeated champions. Who will prevail? Day 8 of incredible chess, coming up next.
Welcome back, chess fans, to Day 8 of the 2024 American Cup held here in St. Louis. We start the day in front of the Athletes Hotel, an historical landmark here in the central West End. We've been having some amazing chess up to this point, but this is the beginning of the grand finals. Who's going to take the first step towards those elusive titles? Well, let's go to the studio and find out.
Live from the St. Louis Chess Club, in the American Cup, we have reached the finals and the clash of the champions. Day 8 starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm woman Grandmaster Anastasiya Karlovich and I'm here with two brilliant Grandmasters, Yasser, Seirawan and Cristian, Chirila.
I was waiting for the brilliant.
Good to see you, Anastasiya. Good to see you, Yasser.
Cristian, it's wonderful. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our coverage of the 2024 American Cup. We have had an exciting event that has at last brought us to the grand finals. It seemed to me like Irina and Alice were always on a collision course from the start of the tournament. The Open Grand Finals was always open for me. I didn't know who was going to qualify. Anastasiya, do the honors and tell us about the brackets.
Let's see all this way to the grand finals. Levon Aronian made it after beating a few opponents. Sam Seirawan was in the first round, then he defeated Fabiano Caruana, and then at the end we could see that how he defeated Ray Robson. So Levon Aronian is in the final. Let's check the elimination bracket and see who won them.
Exactly.
Wesley saw. He was eliminated, but he came back after beating Fabiano Caruana and later on Ray Robson.
From behind, Wesley So, showing that he can be the comeback. And in the championship for the ladies, how did that go?
And in the championship for the ladies, we have Irina Krush, the one who won all previous matches.
Right.
After starting her championship not so well, losing the first game against Zoe Tang, she literally crushed everyone. Nazi Paikidze and also Alice Lee lost their matches against Irina, and now we can see also who will be her opponent for the grand final.
Alice Lee dropped into the elimination bracket.
She dropped, but she came back very quickly after beating Begim Tohirjonova yesterday. We saw the match. She will be playing with Irina Krush again for the second time in the American Cup.
Well, let's talk about those grand finals, the head-to-head. Let's start with the
Open section, yes. So Levon Aronian won 4 games, lost 4 games, and they had 20 draws against Wesley So.
That looks pretty even, Steven, to me.
Exactly.
And how about for the ladies? We know that Irina, with her history, has a dominant score.
Absolutely. 8 victories, and only once she lost against Alice Lee, and 8 draws between those players.
Exactly. Tell our viewers about today's schedule. What can they expect for this day 8?
So today we have 1 classical game followed by 1 rapid game. And tomorrow we will have again 1 classical game, 1 rapid game, and in case of tie, players will have a blitz playoff.
Exactly.
Day number 10 is going to be very interesting in case if we have rapid grand final, but we are going to have them only if Levon Aronian and Irina Krush will lose their matches.
Exactly. That day, day 10, is going to feature an incredible blitz event. 30 of the best will be duking it out for big prize money in blitz.
Exactly.
And wow, I've got to tell you, we've seen an exciting tournament, Cristian, come down to these grand finals, and all four players deserve their spot at the table.
But I feel this last few days will be a story of resilience. And who will be the most resilient out of these four? I have to say, the two grand finalists that came from the Champions bracket, they definitely have a sizable advantage. They have an extra life, but also they had yesterday as an extra rest day. So that's quite important. We've heard from all of the players. They feel this format is very, very grueling, very tiring, and that extra rest day could potentially pay dividends. Let's take a look at the head-to-head as we go into the grand finals and see where we stand. We're going to start with the ladies section. Grandmaster Irina Krush, the only Grandmaster in that section, 40 years young, FIDE rating 24-21. As you can see, compare that to Alice Lee. Alice is not far behind, 23-56. She is quite far behind in terms of age though, 14 years young, but she brings so much experience to the table as well. She is an international master. Also, Alice Lee, she is the 2023 US Junior Girls champ. Quite an impressive young lady. Take a look at this. She's been facing Irina so many times in the past few years.
Right.
Finally, at some point, something will crack right in the armor of the experienced 8-time national champion Irina Krush, or so Alice Lee hopes. We'll see if that happens in the next couple of days. And we can see also Wesley is getting checked by Chris Berg.
I was going to say very thoroughly, aren't those arbiters? Yeah.
Let's take a look at what's happening in the open section. You guys went through the American Cup matchups, but take a look at this lifetime matchups. 31 wins, 33 losses, and 73 draws. It's so close between these two players. Not a lot separates them, and they know each other so well. They're compatriots, they play on the same Olympic team, they know each other and their repertoires quite well because they faced each other so many times. This one is going to be a grueling battle, I have to say. I cannot wait to see what these players are going to bring to the table. But we also have the sensei with us, Kostya Kavutskiy. Kostya, you're closer to the action. What do you see happening in today's games?
Thanks, Cristian. Hello, Yasser. Hello, Anastasiya. I think it's going to be a very, very exciting 2 days of finals coming up ahead of us. I mean, look, Levon, Aronian, Irina Krush, they're the obvious favorites coming in. They've been sitting pretty, in the champions bracket, relaxing, waiting for the challenger to come. But now they have one. And Wesley and Alice Lee have both survived the elimination bracket, going through some very, very tough matches. They've both seen some darkness, guys. They've tasted defeat, and now they have a second chance, and that is very, very dangerous for their opponents. Now, we had the stat earlier. No player coming from the elimination bracket has ever won the American Cup. However, both Levon and Irina, they will actually have to win the match in order to win the tournament. They can't just draw their way to the championship. So overall, guys, it's going to be an absolutely brutal day of chess. And as always, I am looking forward to it.
Thank you, Kostya. And indeed, the players are fighting hard. Anastasiya, record prize fund. Tell our viewers what the players are competing for.
In the open section, they're competing for 250,000 total prize fund, and actually players are enjoying already the fact that they know their prizes, except those first two places. Levon Aronian and Wesley fighting for 75 and 55,000 accordingly. Depends who wins, 20,000 difference. Yes.
Exactly. The champions bonus has already been won by Levon. And in the ladies section?
And in the ladies, 150,000 total prize fund, and with the winner will get 40,000, and the loser of the grand final will get 30,000 prize fund.
Champions bonus of 9,000 has already been collected by Irina. And the players getting ready. Yes, exactly. So the players getting ready to do business. You see the players adjusting the pieces and just making sure everything is on their correct score. You talked about the experience, Cristian, of Alice Lee. This is her 6th match in the American Cup against
Irina.
And she's always come up short in each of these matches. And it's like the veteran somehow finds a weak spot.
Yes. She's very good. Irina is very good, I have to say. Especially when she plays against Alice. It feels
like she brings out her best game.
She knows her very well. Yes, she can anticipate almost what she's going to play in the openings, and that gives her somewhat of an advantage. It felt like every single opening she got a better position, with the exception of the second classical game where Alice had the white pieces and almost defeated Irina. She went on to lose that one, and Irina clinched that match, but Alice was very, very close to getting a victory in that game.
I also have a feeling that she kind of gets positions she prefers to play Irina against Alice. You know, when you're young, you really want to deliver a checkmate, you want to have some tactical positions on the board, and Irina finds those positions which suits her style.
I think we have some graphics about C4 or some information about...
Big shout out to Ben Underwood on this. So Irina usually plays D4, and she has 5 wins and 3 draws from American Cup. When she plays D4, strangely enough, when she plays something else like C4, she has 6 wins and 1 loss. So from Alice Lee's point of view, C4 should not have been a surprise. She could have expected it. She's coming out with her traditional, I would say, Queen's Gambit. And, like you were saying, it's like Irina somehow, her guesswork has been more on point.
Yes, absolutely. But again, Alice Lee is always very well prepared as well. She's so young, but she knows so much theory. It just goes to show how much she works at home.
Exactly. Exactly.
Irina plays with white pieces today, and my prediction is that she will try her best to win this game, because next 2 games she will be playing with black, and today is the day for her to push.
And definitely trying to press with the advantage as white C takes D5. Okay, that is an early committal decision.
I like this decision.
You do?
Yes. Again, especially against Alice. Like, it just feels like she's going to get the type of position, type of very, let's say, maneuvering position with the Carlsbad structure and whatnot, that she's going to be able to slowly outplay her younger opponent.
Earlier in the tournament, we had seen this ending, but I don't know if it was between these 2 players. Bishop G5, E3, Bishop F5. Remember, this is the famous Petrosian ending after Queen F3, Bishop takes F6.
This was the game between Fabiano with the white pieces against Lenier Dominguez. In fact, I do believe it's one of their blitz games. I don't remember if this was the decisive one, but I do think it was the decisive one.
Yes, blitz game. It feels it was so long time ago. No?
I know. So many adventures have already.
Even though just 3 days ago.
Right. Bishop G5. Are we going to see C7, C6?
We already saw F5? Bishop to B4.
No. Rogozin. Bishop to B4.
But this is a different Rogozin, right?
Right. Where we've already captured on D5, we don't have to worry about those D5 takes C4 and B5 variations, as well as the C5
Queen capturing back on D5 in some variations.
E2, E3, I think, is the most standard move. You could try Queen A4 check and Queen B3, but I think E3 is where most people are going these days. And I think it's H6. Bishop H4 is just the start of the tabia position. I noticed in the open section, by the way, we'll just switch to that. The players have very quickly played a Berlin.
Why?
Right out of the... and they've gone right into this ending, an ending that Wesley plays so very well himself on the black side. He knows this position inside and out. I'm going to say both players do, of course.
Yes. Now, I'm actually very curious to see how Wesley is going to approach this match in particular, because he's coming off a very difficult day. right, at the office. Again, he's been talking about how difficult and how tiresome these matches are. Maybe what he wants is to take it easy in the classical, try to outplay Levon in the rapid, try to get some decisive result in the rapid, and preserve the energy. Perhaps this will be his strategy.
The problem is that he will be, again, as a favorite in this match, he will have white pieces now, and for the rapid games, he will have, for the rapid game today, he'll have black. And also tomorrow he starts with black pieces.
Exactly.
This is what makes it a little bit difficult for top seeds. They have to try to get something out of white game.
Exactly.
So,
And it has been working so far for Wesley. He's been in a must-win situation with white pieces, both against Fabiano and yesterday as well. We've seen it. And he managed to produce the miracle in the last game with the white pieces, quite nicely so yesterday, especially that game against Ray Robson. It really felt like he never gave any chance to Ray in that one.
For those of you who are a bit curious, yes, indeed, bishop takes d4. White has left his pawn hanging, but the theory is very, very deep these days. That bishop takes d4 is actually considered risky. And that was why we saw very quickly the move knight e8 was played. Now bishop takes d4 is a threat, not even a semi-threat, but a real threat. c2, c3, d7, d5, bishop d3 played in the nick of time. If black could play the move bishop f5, equality is just around the corner. Again, I think when I think of this specific position, I think Wesley So. There was a spectacular game that was played. Who has done it? I believe it was Ali Reza Firouzja, who has made these sacrifices on f5 in either the Sinquefield Cup or the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. Absolutely, absolutely mesmerizing play. We'll keep an eye on this one, and I'm going to, I'm going to turn it over to you, Cristian, and tell us the latest and greatest news.
Well, I'm trying to remember. So there's been this game, but I just simply cannot remember in what tournament it was played. But I know that there was a big, big novelty that one of the players with the white pieces, I still cannot remember the exact names, was preparing in this one. I think it was something along the lines of knight to c3 after, if you do capture the pawn on d4. And we'll go through this just because we have some time. This is classical, let's not forget about it.
Right.
Knight to e8, knight to d5, c6. And I do believe at this point, one of the players had this brilliant idea, knight to c7. Very nice idea. Knight to c7, take. Of course, you cannot take because you're going to lose that queen, but you can go queen to f8, right? Now I have ideas of rook to d1 or queen to d2 and play with the pawn down up, but play against the bishop on c8 because I will plant the bishop on d6 after I take advantage. For example, rook to d1, bishop f6, bishop to d6, already problematic.
And you see the bar going up.
Exactly, because the only square is d8, and now, sure, I'm a pawn down, but look at your pieces, right? You're still like 10 moves away from getting anything going on that
bishop
side.
Bishop d3.
Right.
So these are the type of ideas, very intriguing ideas that could potentially land black in trouble if they're not aware of them. But I'm sure, Levon is such a well-prepared individual, such a well-prepared player, especially in the Berlin.
Yeah, and like I said, he played knight e8 very quickly, not even spending a moment thinking about capturing the pawn. The players have played very quickly. We've just seen the last move, c7, c6 by Levon. I think this is a very nice idea. Again, I believe it was introduced by Wesley. Certainly a lot of people have played this position on the black side, but bottom line, black is looking to trade pieces, bishop f5, queen d7, rook e8, and white has to do something rather convincingly now. If he just drifts and plays moves like, I don't know, rook e1 and h3, is not really going to get anywhere. Maybe it's time to go a little bit space grabbing with b4, b5. Hard to get an advantage. Let's switch to the ladies. This is not what happened. I will refresh my board, pardon me.
Actually,
is not
remember
one
we
of-
had this nice statistics from Ben,
Yes.
which showed how many moves normally these players are ready for
Before the deep think.
the first deep think.
Right.
Yes, and Wesley has a better score against Levon, but I believe that in general now they know the position pretty well. Yes, now it's already
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
we've
we
got
can check this
this,
graphic. Yes.
Very nice
First.
graphic of the idea is you and I play a match game, and you play your 10 moves,
Yes.
and then I have a big think after 8. But the next day I come back and I have a big think after 12. Suddenly my library got a lot deeper, and this is what it's like for the deep thinks. Wesley So, as you can see, for 2024, he's been playing a lot more moves before he goes into the tank. Whereas
Levon.
he is, well, slightly better. No, it's slightly worse. Pardon me.
Slightly worse, yes,
Yeah,
compared
he's
to Wesley,
declined.
yes.
Irina Krush slightly better, showing that she's more knowledgeable, familiar,
prepared in the
better
opening,
prepared.
yes.
Alice Lee, I would have expected the reverse. See, I would have gotten that wrong. Intuitively, I would have said Alice Lee would be playing a lot more moves before going into a deep think, just based on experience, on her training.
So does that mean that Wesley and Irina are better prepared in 2024
Looks
Than
like
they were
they started
before.
well.
previous years?
Yeah.
Yes.
That could
Well,
be.
sometimes when you start teaching,
Well, the sample size is much smaller for
Yes, of
2024
course.
also. So,
right? I mean,
but still quite an
we need more
informative
data.
graphic. I like it.
We need more data. Absolutely.
But sometimes people, they start thinking, even if they know the position, they just want to go deeper into the game, let's say, and this is one of the possibilities as well. But okay, let's pretend that
Right.
it just shows the opening knowledge.
By the way, after h6, just a second, something very, h6, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, a2, a3. That is a very, I want to say, non-challenging way of playing it. Bishop takes f6 is just sort of like you're trying to tame the position down
Yes.
by trading pieces.
Correct, because bishop takes c3 is forced, right?
Exactly.
Now.
I mean-
you have to take that knight off
Because
the
d5
board.
is hanging.
Otherwise, knight takes d5.
Knight
and
takes
you're in trouble.
d5. But okay, bishop takes, pawn takes, castle.
Correct.
All standard stuff.
Again, this is the type of position that Irina wants to play against
Endgame.
Alice Lee. A very dry position in which she will slowly try to outmaneuver Alice. She has the recipe. She's been doing this for at least 3 years, right?
Right.
So she knows exactly what type of positions to play. And if I remember, most of their decisive games have been very similar to this one. Just not a lot of pieces on the board. Even the last one, where Alice was slightly better. She got outplayed with very few pieces on the board. That is what Irina is going for.
One of the novelties of this tournament that have been introduced by Silverback is the face cam. There you see in the game between Irina and Alice a point of view of what it's like to be on Irina's side of the table. She's facing Alice, and you can see that there's a camera on the padding, the face cam camera.
Face cam, yes.
Spy cam, face cam, however you
Face
want.
cam. Bishop
Face
takes
cam,
c3,
okay.
check. B takes c3. I'm expecting castles. The problem I'm having with White's position is this development on the king side, bishop d3, knight e2, rook h1, prescribes I've got to go knight f3, bishop e2, castles. And by that time, isn't Black just getting in her play with c5 and knight
That's a
c6?
six.
Surely,
and bishop?
yes, surely. Again, it's going.
Easy play?
I do have a very good control in the center with c3 and e3, right? Let's try to take it one move at a time.
Okay, so White to play.
Let's go knight f3, right?
That's the
Or
most.
should we start with bishop to d3 just to stay a bit more flexible?
I don't know, because bishop d3 does encourage bishop f5.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of expected knight f3, let's say. c5.
Yes.
Okay, and no captures, because queen takes c3 would be a check, and that would mean whoop. And now you have to decide.
Let's go bishop e2. Are you
Bishop
going to go
E2.
c4 is my question. Probably not, right?
No, I would probably play knight c6 first.
That's good news for me. I will go castle.
And then castles. And then we have now comes the testing moment. Should I play c4 here? Should I play bishop to g4? Rook to e8, b7, b6.
Like. All of them.
A lot of very
sensible moves.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Problem with bishop g4, I'm a bit worried that I might actually take that pawn on c5.
Serious? I was more afraid of moves like queen b3.
No, I
but
was
take on
taking.
c5.
Just because d5 is also hanging.
Take on c3.
Yes, I will take on d5.
What's the body count after this?
d8.
Queen c4 maybe.
Queen c4 maybe. I should have probably used the other rook. Apologies. I should have probably used this rook.
Yeah,
Okay.
it feels that Wesley game goes towards the draw.
Okay,
Yes, look at
yes,
this, no
let's take a
pieces
look.
left. It's just
Oh
only
my
pawns,
gosh.
only pawns. I don't know how it happened,
my
but
gosh,
it happened really fast. And
from-
look at this, already there.
Yep.
Opening to endgame.
And now we're
Three
being
times
given
repetition.
a clear signal. Wesley just wanted to rest.
I think yesterday's...
Look at this. We have this note that the next game starts at 2 o'clock. So they will play. They will play rapid right after. Basically, they will not wait until 5 p.m. or something like this. So they will play actually just in half an hour, like
Well,
for
that
40
makes
minutes.
it a bit easier for us. We only
Yes.
have one game to cover now.
Wow.
Yeah, but it
I
will
think
have
this
rapid
is going
game.
to be a day for social media. We can actually talk with our audience, have some interaction.
No, we have
you
a
know,
lot
the
of
strangest
analysis
part
to make.
is I'm not even sure there was a novelty in any of this game today.
No.
I have the feeling that I did see this whole variation after knight g7. At first blush, you think, oh my gosh, I blundered. I can't move my queen and protect the rook. But there is this nice little capture, and that particular
Everything.
combination.
This is a
I've
very
seen.
well-known, yes, very well-known way to make a draw.
And this has happened in previous games. This
Oh,
whole
for
thing.
sure, yes.
But do you remember this game in Grandchester? I think it was between Wesley and Levon Aronian, where Wesley tricked him in the ending. Exchange a few pieces, and then actually Levon was worse and Wesley won this game.
Right.
So also Levon had black pieces in that
Right.
one. So I think today it's a really good result for Levon.
Right. Lulled them to sleep in that one. Let's just take since this game is over so fast, let's just take a look at the last few moves as the players discovered a way of repeating the position 3 times to the satisfaction of the arbiters, of course.
Exactly. Yes.
Very important.
Yes. Imagine if your opponent is not repeating, he goes to E2 or
D7,
F3, D3,
F8.
and then you need to
Right.
find.
Yes.
It's not that easy then.
By the way, that's an incredible shirt, jacket. What is that? Is that a shirt that Levon has?
Levon?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Another
actually.
fashion statement.
Yes. And I saw Levon today before the games.
I did
He was in a
too.
very good mood. He was
On his way for a walk.
probably following his routine. He had his earphones. He was ready to go for a walk.
Exactly.
This is what players do. They have their own very specific
Routine.
routine, and it's very nice to sometimes see what's going on. I think Wesley also had a walk before the games, but it's over now. Not over completely because we have this rapid game.
At 2 o'clock.
Let's maybe discuss it a little bit, Yasser. What do you think was the strategy? So probably Wesley, even though he had white pieces, he didn't feel well today after playing this really tough match yesterday. That's my explanation.
Yeah, mine too. I'll go with that. When you're facing an elimination, you can see these games. They play, but you don't understand the nervousnesses of the players because every move, any single move, could cost them the match.
Yes.
Right out of the tournament. So there's a lot of nervous energy gets spent winning in an elimination match. And we still have a rapid game to go. But from Wesley's point of view, he was saying,
I want to save some energy. Let's play this rapid game. Maybe he's very sure about his black pieces tomorrow as well. In the
And
first game.
Kostya pointed out an interesting fact. Wesley's coming from the elimination bracket where he performed very well. Maybe he has that feeling like I should take this match to Rapids.
Maybe, actually, yes.
Yeah.
If it worked well for him before, why not to repeat the success if possible?
Coach, you like the explanation so far?
No, of course. No, but I told you at the beginning of the show, I'm very curious to see how he's going to approach this one, whether he's going to make a quick draw and try to preserve the energy or not. And it does seem like this was his strategy all along.
Right.
Also, we tend to underestimate how difficult it is to find ideas against, especially the Berlin. I mean, good luck. You have a
Yes,
month
you're right.
to try to find an idea against the Berlin.
Right.
Good luck. It's going to be extremely difficult. Now, let's not forget, they've also played so many games up to this point. So if you had something ready before the event, by this moment, you've probably don't have any ideas anymore, right? You've played everything under the sun. You're just trying to freestyle it. And Wesley said, okay, how do I preserve my energy? Do I go back to my hotel room yesterday after the match and start looking for ideas against the Berlin? Or do I just take one day off, get ready for the Rapid, try to keep it close in the first couple of games, and then maybe I will have some ideas for the last Rapid game, where I will have white once again. I do think that that is the sweet spot that Wesley is trying to achieve in this particular matchup.
There was this tournament, in Amsterdam, Levitov chess it was called, and
Yes.
it was forbidden to play Berlin. And both Wesley and Levon were playing in this event, and everybody was like, shall I still try to play it, or maybe, was it a joke, or it was
Right,
not? So, but actually nobody played it.
Yeah, they used to have these thematic tournaments. Like there was a book, Sicilian Love. It was about the open open Sicilian, I
Yes.
beg your pardon, that was played in Buenos Aires, and the players were obliged to
Obliged to
play
play.
an open Sicilian. And I like this moment right here, E4, E5. So in this exact moment, I'm looking at the Wesley So versus Levon game, by the way. If you don't have an answer, to the Berlin, you have another problem. You may not have an answer to the Russian defense, the Petrov. So I started seeing a lot of players playing bishop c4.
Yeah, just
with
to
the
prevent
idea that when you try to
moves.
play the Petrov, I dodge it. The interesting thing about what we call the bishop's opening, bishop to c4, is it also avoids the Berlin. So for some players, they may want to check the latest and greatest news on the bishop opening as a way of avoiding the
Are you
Petrov.
giving now the advice for
ideas, yeah.
Levon for the Rapid game? How to avoid...
I remember I was playing the Petrov with a great deal of success, and I played against Lubomir Lebojevic. Lebojevich's white played d4. I thought, that's a crafty way of avoiding my Petrov. And then he played knight f3. And the crazy part is I couldn't think of a better move than knight c6.
Exactly.
And I was in a Scotch, and
yes.
he had tricked me.
Nice.
Ooh,
You can
very
also
interesting.
still try King's Gambit, like Nepo. Sometimes he uses it, but of course not for classical game. No, but he uses it successfully.
I know.
He played it also against Peter Svidler, and Peter was like unhappy with him. Like,
Right. How dare you? What kind of an insult is this that you dare play me?
And also he beat Ferrugia in a few moves, 15 moves, something like this. The game lasted. So
I mean, he did have a course, right?
exactly, that's why he keeps promoting
King's Gambit. Yeah.
King's Gambit.
E4, E5. It's been a problem for white players, that
Yes.
E5
Absolutely.
for centuries.
Absolutely. It's so difficult to crack it, right? And the best thing you can get is probably just a long game and try to grind your opponent. That's
Exactly.
basically it. Try to find some ideas that would at least give some practical questions to your opponent.
But actually-
Make them spend some time and then take
Yes.
advantage in the time trouble.
You remember this game of Levon against, I think, Wander Liang from US Championship, where he played this old variation with bishop c4, bishop d5, c3, d4. The professor told him to
Right.
try it, to give
Right.
it a try.
Exactly.
Remember?
Yeah,
So, and he was
Wander.
successful against Levon.
He won in 20 moves.
Yes, exactly. So maybe this is a strategy. Too much
That's a great
respect.
success.
Yeah.
Great
The
success.
moral of that story is listen to your professors.
Even if they don't know anything about chess.
They know nothing about chess.
Because this was just a professor at his university.
Right,
This was not a
Chicago.
chess coach or
Yes,
anything
exactly,
of that nature.
yes.
The guy had no idea.
Yes. He just knew this line and he said, why nobody plays it? And too much respect, you know, just let's check the top grandmasters' memory, if they
Right.
remember all those crazy
I
lines.
like it. Let's try it out.
Bishop D3. She went, did
She did.
Irina with your initial try.
Yes, Bishop D3, and you didn't like it
'Cause of
I
Bishop F5.
Look, I
Bishop
understand why.
Yes.
Because if you do this C5 and now you go Bishop to D3. Also, I have Bishop to F5. But if you do go Bishop to E2, then I can
Yes.
go C4. And I generally don't like this when my Bishop is on E2 and not on C2, because my plan is to go E4. I don't
Clear.
have any other plan in the position
Clear.
as white. You're going to try to push as black on the queen side, B5, A5, knight 6, B4, break open and create this passer on the C file. I'm going to try to go E4 and blast open the center, also weaken the pawn on C4. With the bishop on C2, it's much easier to do that, right? Because I'm already supporting
You're supporting
the move
E4.
E4. With the bishop on E2, not so easy. Especially, let's say I go knight E2, you put a rook on the E file, and at some point you will want to play F3. It's still not easy because the pawn on E3 is hanging. So it becomes very difficult with the bishop on E2 to make E4 happen. That's why she played the move bishop to D3. And to be honest, that's why this whole variation with bishop takes F6, it's not considered to create too many problems.
Not challenging.
You don't have a lot of options because
Right.
there's a limited amount of material on the board. Bishop to F5, of course, is the main line, but she hasn't played the move yet. Alice Lee is thinking. Alice Lee is trying to figure things out. Once again, this is exactly how Irina usually defeats her younger opponent. She gives her a simple, at least at first sight, position where she knows how to play and how to maneuver just simply on a different level compared to Alice.
Exactly. So Bishop D3, Alice, a little bit taken aback by the simplicity of White's play, but it has a dollop of poison too. Be careful. The breaks are on White's side, C4 and E4. That's why in these positions I do like playing Bishop F5 right away. Let's say you take a flexible approach with something like Knight, and let's say I do something similar. At one moment you're going to play castles. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure at which moment. And let's say that for me, I'm not afraid of E4, and I kind of like to encourage you to play E4. Let me put my knight on a very decent outpost. My idea is telegraphed. I want to capture on D3 and play knight to C4. I think it's going to be hard for White to prove an advantage in this case, but I understand from Irina's point of view that she just wants a game where where she can outplay her opponent with a decent number of pieces on the board. I think that Irina has a strategy in her matches with Alice not to allow Alice to attack her king.
Yes, that's
Absolutely,
a very good point.
yes. No tactics. No.
Very good point.
Yes.
Yeah. And, in this particular case, I may be comfortable playing knight to b6 to c4, but that knight is not attacking the king. It's a long, long way
Yes,
away.
it's really far. I mean, Yasser, how depressing it should be, for Alice.
Right.
Just think about it. Like, I can even feel all this pain. As a player who also tries always to find a way, to attack the king,
Yeah.
like, you have an opponent who knows what you want and just
Exactly.
prevents everything.
Exactly.
All ideas you have. So I don't know, it's hard actually just to keep playing these positions and keep control, maybe a little bit worse position, and you just have to, play maybe sometimes really dry positions.
Right.
How hard it is.
It's terrible. I think
I would fall asleep.
Right. The world champion Tigran Petrosian, in my view, was one of these really underestimated world champions. And what he did, and it was very, very, very frustrating, is he understood what your active play would be before you did. So he was preventing you from playing your attack before you realized you had an attack.
Exactly. Yes.
Grandmaster Robert Byrne, the famous columnist from the New York Times, said to me, Tigran Petrosian was playing a defensive combination before you realized that you were on offense. It was sort of like very, very frustrating. You don't get to play
Your play.
your
Yes,
play.
you don't have your play. You don't dictate the position.
Exactly.
And it's of course easier to do with white, I guess, compared to black.
Exactly.
But this is what Irina is doing.
Bishop to d3. Another approach, a very different approach, is the kind of approach that Cristian referred to. You could play c5, knight e2, c4, bishop c2, knight c6. And this is the type of position where, as Cristian was saying, oops, knight c6, castles, rook e8. The play is for white to now play for e3, e4. And with the bishop on c2, you're more supporting that.
Much easier to make it happen because,
Exactly.
again, now you can go knight to g3, for example, then you defend that pawn on the e file with a rook, or maybe even with a queen, queen to d2, then f3, e4 just simply comes. With the bishop on e2, so much more difficult to make
Exactly.
it happen.
The problem with this line of play for black, she might get left with a passive bishop. That was why very early, in fact, in the current position, I was kind of thumping the board for bishop f5 for Alice, because there is always that danger that this bishop does become a little bit passive.
And guess how this, this variation is called?
No guesses.
The positional line. This is called the positional line.
And what is the ELO of Mr. Positional?
Right. Nobody knows, right?
Oh my
What is
God,
the ELO rating of
sounds
Mr.
sad.
Positional?
Yes.
Probably Irina
For
is
tactical
the highest
player.
rated player that ever played this position, because there's actually not that many games.
Really?
With bishop f5, at least in my database, there's only one game.
Wow.
And with c5, which is the main line, only 3 games.
Okay.
So, no, there hasn't been
Enough data.
too many players that were ready to experience with the positional line.
Exactly.
Positional. Positional position.
I
Yes.
don't know how these openings do get named. I was always very frustrated because it seemed to me that from World War II to, let's say, modern players, Russians, Soviets dominated chess. And they just named everything after their players. So you would have some random variation with this really, really long Russian name, and you go like, how do they get to name everything? There is no mamas and papas
Exactly.
variation in chess. No. It's the
Everything is-
Tartikover, Makadanov, Bondarevsky.
Good luck with all
Bronstein,
this name. You're doing
Botvinnik
well.
line.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Nice. Bishop d3, and Alice is actually, this is
She's
a long
thinking,
thing
yes.
for her. She's really, because it's a fundamental question. Do I play for bishop f5, in which case more pieces are coming off the board, and where's my play? Or I don't even know how she could mix things up. If I was, let's say I'm in an ultra-aggressive mood. Let's
Yes,
say I
what
play
can you
queen
do?
g5. Like, I just want to, I don't know,
To
tickle.
create at least one threat yes, in this position.
Right, just to say,
Okay.
Okay.
I like it. Let's go queen g5.
queen g5. If you put your queen on f3, which is maybe somehow sensible, it does interfere with your knight's development.
Yeah.
No, she did play bishop f5. I just wanted to say that if I do provoke the move g3, and you can imagine, I will drop my queen back. Now, my whole idea is as soon as you move your knight, I want to occupy bishop h3. Was queen g5 ever played against the positional
No.
variation?
No. Only 3 moves have been played: c5, bishop
No, but-
f5, and bishop e6.
After queen
Right.
g5, I immediately started to check lines with knight f3. Yes, or
Oh,
my
your
brain
opponent-
started to work.
Sacrifice.
Yes, I want to give something.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course it's not necessary at all. But I just I mean, I started to check. Let's see, maybe there is
But
something.
Anastasia, this is the positional line.
I know that, but I mean, I'm
Positional
trying
line
to
does not
turn it
require
into.
the tactical.
Don't go into some tactical situations.
Yasser proposed this move queen g5. I'm just
Don't
trying
be
my best.
blaming me. I mean,
Take
I'm
advantage
only
of
human.
Yasser trying to go astray
human.
from the positional play. Play something like Queen F3. Just keep it positional.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, Queen F3. Aren't you a little bit unhappy that you put the knight in the way? Maybe
Not so much. No, I'm not worried about my knight being not on F3 because I can put it on E2, and I think on E2 is actually quite well placed. In fact, I would probably go knight E2 no matter what you do.
Okay, so you're saying this ending is...
I feel good about this one, yes.
Is good?
I will take with the king, then I will go H4. Maybe I get something.
Possible.
It's not much, of course. I understand
It's-
that. But it's something.
It's
It became
a bit-
positional ending suddenly.
Bishop F5, yeah, right. The
From
positional
positional
line,
opening.
Bishop F5, Knight E2 is on the board, and that strikes me as correct play.
Yes.
Queen G5 is a little bit coffee
Coffee house.
Nice. Because we're going to have just this one classical game at 2 o'clock, the rapid game
Will start.
Wesley Levon will start. I think, seriously, not a joke, it's going to be a very good opportunity for the show to invite a social media onto the show, ask us a lot of questions, because we couldn't answer any of the audience's questions.
So let's remind actually everyone where to go.
Where do they go?
They go to Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter accounts of St. Louis Chess Club.
Okay.
And there you can ask those questions. We have the post
And
for the
Sabina.
commentators, yes, or you can send it in direct message, or you can also, hashtag the American Cup, right? And
Sounds good to me.
so you can find the way how to send this question
Right.
if you use our social media accounts. Yeah, like first of
Exactly.
all, follow those accounts and then ask your questions. We will be happy to answer.
Yeah. And we will be needing your help today because guess what? We are going to have a very singular games going on. Earlier, we already had a draw, and we will be expecting Webster. We were expecting Wesley
Yes.
Levon soon, but Kostya caught up with Levon after his very short draw. Let's see what Levon had to say.
Levon, you had a very quick draw with Wesley. Were you surprised by his decision?
Mildly surprised, but definitely I thought it would, it's either he's going to go to the full battle or make a short draw. So, but I guess after his nerve-wracking match, he's been playing a lot of the splits and rapids throughout the day, so I understand that decision, although it's not a decision I would make myself.
You had a rest day yesterday. How are you feeling going into the finals overall?
I'm always ready to fight, so yeah, I'm excited. When you're in the final, it's a dream come true. So I really enjoy this tournament. So let's see how it goes.
All right, thanks and good luck in the rapid.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kostya. Thank you, Levon. It looks like square dancing and cowboy outfits. I don't know what's going on there.
But it fit well
Mr.
with the
Fashion.
background.
Yeah.
I liked how it looked on this board, next to the board.
I was too
billboard.
mesmerized by the pattern. I couldn't even tell you what was in the background. Knight E2, Knight D7. Coach, tell us what you're thinking about the position. First of all, how does the engine evaluate all of this?
Equal, maybe
Just
slightly.
equal.
Forget about it. Slightly better for black, but no, not really. 0.04.
Look at the accuracy.
Forget about it.
Look at the accuracy.
100?
Why it's so
98%
good for
against
white, so good for
100%.
black? Yes.
I guess 98% because you had other moves that would preserve some of that opening advantage for white. She did not go for that. She did go for bishop takes f6. Again, she's trying to keep the position very, very simple. And it is quite a simple position. I will try to, first I'm going to go castle, then I will try to provoke you exchanging but on my terms. I don't want to take and give you the light squares, for example.
Okay.
Let's say castle, knight to b6, I don't want to take myself because this is the queen on f5, despite the fact that it's a bit overextended, there's no pieces to attack it. right? We don't have a lot of pieces left
No,
on
we
board.
don't.
And I do have some nice control over important light squares, C2, D3, those type of situations. Also, queen to B1 could potentially be an idea, but that simplifies the position so much, right?
Yeah.
Even more than it already is. So what I try to do is I go knight to G3. I ask you the question, hey, you played bishop to F5, you probably will follow up with bishop takes D3.
Sure.
And we're going to get this position in which, sure, black has a beautiful knight coming to potentially C4, and white has the break in the center with E4.
Exactly.
It's not much. It really isn't. I don't even have to go knight to C4. In fact, probably it's a bad idea to do so
E4
right now
immediately, yes.
because of E4.
Immediately, right.
So I'm going to keep the knight on B6. I'm not going to allow you to go C4.
Right.
I'm going to play rook to E8, and whenever you play the move E4, we're going to get this structure, which is extremely equal. I'm going to get the knight on D5, support that with the move C6, just very stable position for both sides. To be honest, Irina, don't think she was expecting to get much. She was probably expecting to continue pushing late into the middle game and into the early endgame. So I think this is what she's going for.
Thank you, Cristian. And Kostya got a chance to have a word with Wesley as well. Let's jump to Kostya and hear what Wesley had to say about his earlier draw.
Wesley, very quick draw with Levon. Is this part of the strategy?
Well, there's no strategy. I just didn't have time to prepare any good ideas with white so far. I mean, and Levon is a great player. He's in very good form. I'm not sure exactly what opening he would play, but he's been playing the Berlin a lot recently. We also played a very similar line, the Singfield Cup. And yeah, just you gotta conserve your energies for the games too, so you can't really prepare a knockout novelty, day in and day out. You play every day, and then not only have to show up, but you also have to put in good ideas to play for a win. Just didn't have the energy to do that today, but hopefully it worked out. Obviously, the odds are against me considering I have to win 2 matches to be the champion. So Levon has a good advantage, but at least I'm still in the tournament. I still have a chance. So we'll see if it's the right decision.
Yeah, how are you feeling after yesterday's match? Are you able to recover or
Yeah,
still
for
tired?
sure. Yeah, I'm very ecstatic to reach this far and to have a shot at the title. So I'm good. Just didn't have time to prepare anything good today.
All right, thanks, Wesley. Good luck next game.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kostya, and thank you, Wesley. A very salient comment. I didn't have time
Exactly, it's
to
something
prepare
what
anything good.
Cristian said. You
Yeah.
have lack of ideas by this moment, and if you want to find something, you actually don't have that much time and energy to do so.
But that's why I really have to give my congratulations to the teams of Vishy and Nod and Magnus and Bobby, for that matter, too. They do have teams of
To
supporters
work, yes.
who are working while they're sleeping,
Exactly.
coming up with these ideas. I just wonder if Wesley also has some longtime people, trainers,
It's very
because otherwise you
important.
can't. You just don't have the energy to come up with new ideas if
I
you're
think-
all on your own.
I think Wesley
Cristian.
is much more on his own
Really?
than his peers. Yeah. I think Wesley really works better, I think, by himself.
Wow.
Yes, and I think it's been a while. It's been like this for a while.
But on a long-term tournament like this one, I
Yes.
mean, you really need someone. You need the support.
Absolutely.
Yes, like imagine somebody would just stay the whole night, find something, then deliver some ideas in the morning, and
It's
you
fantastic.
go and you play this game with extra confidence that you have something with
Yes.
you. He mentioned this game also from Grand Chess Tour, where he was very lucky to win against Levon. I mean, probably Levon also was kind of preparing against those lines. I also liked what Levon said. He mentioned that he was expecting either a quick draw or a really big fight. Yes,
Right.
not like there was nothing in between.
The quick draw
So,
was what it was.
It's like, of course, players are thinking about all this before the games. What my opponent, what what strategy will he have for the game. Let's say what I should play in case if he shows that he's not against quick draw. You know,
Right.
it's interesting always what is behind the scenes.
The first taste of professionalism I got a chance was Anatoly Karpov when he was world champion from that period, 1975 to 85. He had quite a team of monster helpers, including players such as Michael Tal on his team. Garry Kasparov, he too had a really large team of helpers, and I'm not talking single coaches, I'm talking multiple coaches, and over the years they changed coaches as well. So yeah, I think that the Russian players especially really appreciated having a professional team.
Of course, and even speaking about the common candidates tournament, I'm sure that we will not have only 8 players in Toronto. We're going to have like maybe another 20 grandmasters
Right,
in Canada
in the
these
shadows.
days, because definitely they will bring a few players with them, and you can only imagine, Yasser, how many people will work from their houses
Exactly.
all around the world.
Yeah.
Like
And
even for Fabi, how
Yeah.
many people will come with Fabi?
Exactly.
Those we can actually reveal.
We won't say. We won't put Cristian on the spot.
look
there,
at me.
But also, I remember, and I can't. It may have been Sergei Karyakin. I'm not quite sure. He was asked about his coach a second.
Yes.
He said, "I don't want to reveal a name." So that was kind of okay. Why? Because then my opponents will look at his games.
Of course, that's the point.
And see
yes.
what he's
Exactly.
specializing in and what he
Exactly.
might be teaching me.
There are some tricks, yes, and so what I think most of top players are doing, they announce a few names. So
Yes.
actually making sure that the other team will be working a lot on
Right.
the openings of these guys, and they also keep in secret a few more names.
Yeah. The first thing I would do if I was going to the candidates in Toronto is I would announce that Vladimir Kramnik
Yes,
is on
just to
my
be
team.
sure, yes, that
Everybody
they will just
be studying
have
his games.
lots of sleepless
Distraction.
nights, preparing against all repertoire Vladimir has. Yes,
Exactly.
That's
and
a good
for
point.
the ladies' game, also the same teams of players?
No,
or-
they have, especially if it's World Championship matches.
Yes.
I remember, for example, Anna Ushanina, when she played against Hoyifan in Taizhou, she had Halifman and Korobov in her
Nice.
team. I mean, very impressive.
Right. 2 very different seconds, I want to say as well.
They were
I think
there,
Lei Tingzhe had.
but they were suffering.
There's Hu Yifan, great
She
world
had
champion.
Rajabov, didn't she?
Who-
Lei Tingzhe for the World
Yes,
Championship
I think
match?
so also. And maybe
had
also for the
Rajabov.
candidates as well.
And perhaps for the candidates as well. Yeah.
Also, Chuchila was with Hoyifan in Lviv for this World Championship match against Maria Muzichuk, and Maria Muzichuk had Pavel Ilyanov in her team. So, I mean, normally for those important events, even ladies, they hire really experienced
Top
players and top players.
As they should, yeah.
They should.
I'm about to say, who did Vladimir Shushilov not have as a pupil? I mean, he was helping Fabi. He's been helping quite a
He's been around for a while.
He's
He's been around for a while.
Hoyifan and many others.
Anish,
Linier.
Rajabov, Fabi, so many.
All right, Cristian, update the game for. Not much has happened.
No,
frankly.
not much.
Knight B6.
Literally
as
what we were
expected.
already discussing. Knight to B6 is on the board right now. We're expecting something along the lines of Knight to G3, and then we're going to get this position. I don't see any other clear way to continue this one. For white, you cannot play the move F3 first, because then Rook to E8 comes. You don't have enough support on the E file, right? You need to be ready to play Rook E1 or maybe even Rook A to E1 to defend this pawn on E3. So I don't expect F3. I'm expecting something more around the lines of Knight to G3. Again,
Exactly.
it's a very simple and very equal position. There's no other way to describe it. It's a very equal position, unless one of these players make a pretty significant inaccuracy, then I think this one is going to go towards a draw.
Okay, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Just remind everybody
The
of the
results.
result. We had a Please.
Let's check the results. Yes, we don't have that many results today because we have only 2 matches.
Right, let's check the result.
Yes, the result is a draw.
A draw.
At the moment, yes. So Levon Aronian made a draw against Wesley. So I think it favors Levon because he had black pieces in the first game. He's going to play the rapid. They will play the rapid game. Levon will have white pieces in this one. Let's see what will happen. And still we have another match, no results because Irina, Krush and Leslie, they keep playing.
Exactly. Rapid game expected to come up shortly. But before we go on our break, we'll check in with our friends at Boutique, STL.com. Boutique. And that's not the sports hat. I've got a sports hat. What we have there is a beautiful jacket. But it's not the beautiful jacket. Here we go. I've got too many Boutique things. Here you go. Elevate your style. This is the one. Here we go. Elevate your style with the 2024 American Cup men's jacket. The sleek and sophisticated. It's not luxurious sophistication, simply sophisticated and sleek jacket is wonderful. It features the St. Louis Chess Club logo on the back of the neck, the bold American Cup logo on the left breast. This jacket is the perfect way to represent the prestigious 2024 American Cup. It's available in both men's and women's styles, and sizing up is recommended. Go to CubeBoutiqueSTL.com for all your chess shopping needs, and we will see you on the other side of the break as we get our Cube Boutique promo sorted.
Exactly.
We're looking forward to the exciting chess here at the American Cup, but the candidates are also just around the corner where 2 American players are qualified. How exciting is that?
I think every candidates tournament is type of a tournament that really changes the course of development of chess. And this one has this brilliant mix of lots of young players, up and coming, and lots of established players. So as as a guy from the established players, of course, I'll be rooting for Fabiano and Hikaru.
Yeah, it's obviously very exciting that there are 2 American players in the candidates, Fabiano and Hikaru. I think it could be more at some point, Lier was very close to qualifying by rating. Also, Wesley was in contention both by rating and by FIDE circuit. But in the end, only 2 Americans qualified. But I think they are probably one of the bigger favorites in the candidates. And we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's always exciting to see the candidates. It's the term where people are most coming with the most preparation, and we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be fun to watch. But at the same time, I think they're fighting for first place, so it's only good if you win first place, because if you finish second to 8, it doesn't really do much.
That's pretty exciting. I guess for those players especially, and for American fans, we have so many good players. Honestly, we could have, even more players, or it could have been 2 players, but different players from the US qualifying. So, both the players also have, I think, a good chance to possibly make it all the way and win and qualify for the championship. So, it's a great time to be supporting US chess.
American chess has grown so much in the last decade, and it's really at the peak right now. We have so many players in the top 10 and top 100. Fabi and Hikaru have both been great American players for a while, and it's exciting that they both have a chance at the world crown again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a big chance for all the players who are playing, and it's my 5th time playing the candidates. So I have some experience, a lot of disappointments, and one time went very well. So I know that it'll be very tough. Of course, I'm not expecting anything easy there. I know that it's, even if you play well, you play amazing, or you play badly, you have a very tough time because everyone is really trying very hard to win. So I'm kind of going with my eyes open and into the tournament, and hopefully I'll be in good shape, but you can never tell beforehand.
Who do you think has the best chance?
If I were to answer that, it might answer who I would be helping or not helping, so I should probably leave that alone.
I mean, I'm definitely rooting for Fabiano, but it's hard to predict the candidates. Like, it's 8 players, probably all of them will have chances to win. Some players will have more chances, some players will have less chances, but it's also at the same time, it's just very unpredictable.
But I'm certainly rooting for American players. Like, I would very much prefer it if a world champion is American, other than Russian or Chinese. Yeah. So for sure, I'm rooting for. I think Fabiano is a pretty sizable favorite if he can keep playing like he was playing last year. I think he's got a very good chance. But also Hikaru is seeded number 2. So I think if you have to put money, I certainly would take Fabi and Hikaru over the rest of the field. So I'm rooting for them.
You know, I don't know either of them personally that well, so for me it's about the same.
I'll definitely be rooting for both of them.
Well, both of them are very strong, but I kind of, because I work on and off with Fabiano, I can see that, his passion and his desire is really out there. So I think, he's definitely one of the favorites.
The St. Louis Chess Club is the premier chess facility in the United States. We bring the educational benefits of chess to thousands of students across the St. Louis area. We also promote chess at the highest levels, hosting all levels of the U.S. Championships, as well as high-profile tournaments that attract the world's best players. Become a member and enjoy perks such as free classes and lectures, weekly tournaments, and so much more. Visit stlouischessclub.org to claim your membership today.
The World Chess Hall of Fame, located in the heart of St. Louis's historic Central West End. Want to know why chess has intrigued people around the world for nearly 1,500 years? Stop by and learn about the impact of chess from our 3 floors showcasing the art, culture, and history of the game. The World Chess Hall of Fame has something for everyone to enjoy. For more information on current exhibits, please visit worldchesshof.org. St. Louis, the chess capital of the United States. It also plays host to an award-winning shop dedicated to chess merchandise, all-occasion gifts, and plenty more. At Q Boutique, you can shop both in-store and online. From quirky greeting cards to luxury chess sets, there is something for everyone at Q Boutique. Enjoy a shopping experience like no other. Make sure to check out QBoutiqueSTL.com for a wide variety of gifts for everyone to enjoy.
The St. Louis Chess Club Scholastic Program brings the educational value of chess to kids in schools across the St. Louis area. Active in over 100 schools throughout the St. Louis city and county, the St. Louis Chess Club has been able to reach over 85,000 students in both in-school and after-school programs. We view chess as a valuable educational tool. Learn more about our scholastic programming by visiting stlouischessclub.org/education.
Welcome back to the American Cup. It's day number 8 and we have a result.
Yes, we do.
One result.
It was a short draw and there wasn't much in it, I must say.
It wasn't. It was Berlin. Wesley so made a draw against Levon Aronian and they are going to play the rapid game very soon.
Right.
And Irina, Krush and
Alice Lee. Yes. Wesley is on our mind, that
yes,
is for sure.
Always. They're still playing their game, the first classical game.
And there you see the 2 ladies at the board. They have the face cam furniture. You can see in front of Alice there's a rest pad, and that rest pad camouflages a camera, so you get the point of view. If you're playing against the 8-time U.S. Women's Champion, that was the face that you'd be facing. And you can see it from Alice's point of view. Knight b6, and just as Cristian was explaining, the position is rather dry. In this particular situation, I think it's all about getting in the move e4, full stop.
Yeah.
And I do believe that knight g3 is more or less a prelude of what you have to do. And after you move rook e8, which I think is absolutely, absolutely sensible, as opposed to playing e4 immediately, this is one of those, don't you have to like massage, nurse the pawn forward.
You have to,
so that you go f3. So for example, if you play knight c4, I'm not saying this is the best move, good or bad, you are attacking. The idea is in such a case, I'm just going to put some moves on the board, forgive me for a moment, that we get some situation like this. At least white can aspire to playing e5, f4, get some kind of a kingside attack going. But if I ever am in a situation where I'm doing this, then I don't believe that this structure, 3 versus 3,
this is too dry.
Yes.
Just simply too dry.
No, it has to be based on f3, e4.
Black has absolutely no problem.
Yeah, exactly. And to do it that way. We are expecting the rapid game to get underway very shortly. They're not doing a drawing of lots.
No, they don't, because it's clear already. The first game was played by the top seed of the match.
Right.
Wesley had white pieces, and now Levon Aronian will have 2 games with white pieces after that. 1 rapid game, and tomorrow in the classical game he will have also 1.
And we were just speaking on our break with Grandmaster Varusian Jacobi, and VAR was saying, you know what? This is the game. This is the moment that Levon has to strike, because he already knows that Wesley wants a draw and to go home and to recover from yesterday's traumas. So VAR was saying, okay, big fight, let's do a big fight for this game. And there you see the players handshake as they're getting ready for rapid chess. Coach, what are you advising Levon to play as white?
Well, Levon already said that he's looking for a fight, right? He said,
I'm ready to fight, always.
Right, and he also said that he wouldn't have done what Wesley did.
Yes.
This wouldn't be his choice to try to catch a break in the first game, especially with the white pieces. So we know he's going to look for a fight. E4. Whoa!
C5, Wesley.
C5, Wesley.
Looking for the fight as well.
Maybe Wesley's looking for a fight.
That is a very, very, very big surprise indeed.
The Najdorf is coming from Wesley. When's the last time we've seen Wesley play the Najdorf?
It's been a while. You can go back to his Webster days. I'm just looking at, I'm actually looking at how they play the...
This is my move, yes, not e5. Okay.
What's your move?
Like normally after knight f6, I play e5 in blitz. D takes e5, knight takes e5, e6, and then queen e2, f4.
And away you go.
Yes.
Okay, very nice. On his first move for the American Cup, Levon has been playing e4. He's had 7 wins, 7 draws, and 3 losses with 1 e4. When he does anything else, he's had 2 wins, 4 draws, and a loss. So e4, he's been very, very successful with. I just want to say, for me, watching Wesley play the Sicilian is very rare.
Absolutely. Again, I actually don't remember the last time I've seen Wesley play the Sicilian. Touch anything but the e-pawn.
Right.
He usually just goes e5. That's it. e5, knight c6, try to play it extremely solid.
But maybe he prepared against Levon because he saw him playing those lines, not direct lines, but bishop c4. You could see also g3 move in his games. So perhaps he was expecting that he will not go for the central Sicilian.
Help me out here, Cristian. When I see a closed Sicilian, in other words, when I'm seeing white not playing the move d4 on move 3, I'm usually seeing the light squared bishop being shadowed. That is to say, g3 bishop to g2. I'm looking at a bishop on c4.
No, this is normal.
And what do you call this?
No, this is normal. You want to play c3,
Don't
d4.
tell me it's the normal Sicilian.
Yes. It's very normal. I used to play this fine.
The only name. No, don't call it normal. The position.
The position of Sicilian.
Yes.
Bishop to c4, bishop to e7, a4.
Yes.
A kind of, okay, I want to inhibit you from playing a6 and b5, a4, castle, oops, sorry.
Also preventing knight a5. Sometimes you want to keep this bishop alive.
and a7, a6. Are we still in the throes of theory?
Yes.
We are.
Yes. Seems
it's normal.
It's very normal, yes.
Seems like this position has
so
been
many
played
blitz
before.
games I played in this line.
Boy,
That's
I gotta hit my books.
You need to get back to studying.
I gotta
go back to school. Yes.
Queen to c7. I want to say that actually this was a very funny moment. Exactly in this moment, I usually would play bishop a2 and only then c3. The problem I had with playing the move c2, c3.
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
What?
The square d3 is weak, and so the move knight e5 is actually an annoying move. If you take on e5, well, guess what? The pawn on d3 is actually weaker than this pawn on e5. It's pretty easy for black to play queen c7 and rook d8. So the move c3, I always thought was premature. You could take advantage of it by playing knight e5, and I always thought that you had to play bishop b3 or bishop a2, but that did not happen. After c3, queen c7 was played as if a missed opportunity, if indeed it was. Knight f1.
But d5 was also an option, yes, I think. Cristian has it on the screen. Yes, after c3, black could have played d5.
He played
d5. He played d5.
He did play d5.
He played d5.
c3. He didn't play queen c7. Let me refresh
No, queen
my
c7
board.
is on board, yes. He just played d5 after queen c7.
Okay.
Queen 7, knight f1, and now d5.
Okay, and after d5, bishop b3.
a2.
Thank you. Bishop a2 takes, b5, and we've caught up with the players. Everybody happy about the opening, Cristian?
Absolutely. Why not? Why not? I mean, Levon knows that he's getting some serious chances to play for an advantage with the white pieces.
Right.
And Wesley, perhaps this was his strategy all along. He feels emboldened after winning so many rapid matches that he just wants to play rapid games and take the bull by the horns in the rapid portion. Plays Sicilian. Why not?
Okay. I'm looking at the move b5. If I'm in Wesley's shoes, one of my aspirations would be to play c4, maybe on a good day, knight to g4, knight to e5, and looky, I've got a very beautiful square on d3. You have Levon's position. What would be your aspirations? If you were in Levon's shoes, would you be looking for e5 and maybe launching a kingside attack?
Something
I know
like
you
that.
already.
Yes, I'm thinking about it already, like how to find a way to create some kind of attack on the king side.
Exactly.
But if you manage to get this position, like with e5, bishop on b1, and
do
put queen
e5.
Just I'm not sure. Yes, now bishop f4. Probably we have to defend the pawn.
Or I like what you
or
were
queen
saying.
e2 even.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And c4, bishop b1.
Let's just put some moves on the board. Now you've got to this moment.
Yes.
Are you going to play the move queen e4 and try to
maybe.
cause some
Just,
damage over there, right?
Ask
some questions.
And maybe there is always this plan with h4.
H4?
Yeah, but
right?
you will have bishop b7, of course, or knight c5, yes.
Bishop, yeah, for me, I was thinking to kind of throw a spanner in the works.
I generally like to go bishop g5, right? After g6.
Bishop g5.
Bishop g5.
Right after,
yes.
Yes.
In the style of the
Is that a pawn?
Just, yes, I'm not sure about e5 pawn, what's happening.
You are losing a pawn, so I'm not sure if it works or not. It is a pawn sacrifice.
Yes.
Good for you.
You have to take
it.
Let's
but
take
actually,
it like
let's have a look, because we have queen h4.
Well, I'll have knight f6. So if of course you have queen h4.
But okay,
yes.
not the middle. Let's see.
A threatening mate, but I will be able to defend it with knight f6.
Can we go a few moves back?
Okay.
So I have an idea. Instead of bishop g5, what if I start with bishop h6 first?
That's a tempo.
d8 maybe.
Correct.
Yes, because
and
you want
now
to bring
bishop
the knight.
g5.
Why was that so clever?
The idea was that once you put the knight on f6, maybe I have some
queen f4,
knight takes
maybe?
e6 ideas.
So
like
something
queen
like
h4,
this.
If you go knight f6, maybe I have knight takes e6.
Really?
That feels like a fight for the equality.
Feels like too much, yes.
Wait
wait
for advantage.
Can we go knight? No, knight takes f7. you take with the king.
With the king, yes, and you protect the knight on f6.
Quite
That's a funny way of protecting everybody. You know, if you take with the
Yes.
queen, e5 would be hanging, but you could take with the king. All right, so
I mean,
you're thinking if you're in
Yes.
Levon's shoes, you get to play e5 and launch a kingside attack. Quick question for you, Cristian. The move b7, b5, novelty?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was a novelty.
What was previously
Could we take on
played?
b5, by the way, Yasser? After e5, knight d7, bishop
Sorry,
b1.
what moment? I played e5, knight d7.
Did we have time for that? No?
I played bishop.
Well, now it's black to move.
It's black
And
to move.
taking on
Oh,
b5
you
is a
can-
big threat.
Yes, you're threatening AB.
Yes, if you take on, but you can take on e5 now, yes, and we trade those pawns.
You do
I also have
queen
queen
h5.
But there is
at
queen
the
h5 at the end, yes.
So we can, I mean, I don't know. I've always wondered about these types of position where the king side structure is a little
I
bit
don't like
damaged.
it too much.
But you do open up the H file. Rook comes.
Rook h3, rook h3. What is clear for me that I would like to get this position with white pieces if I play rapid. Like there are some threats, you know. It's also about the time control. 15 minutes for the game, and we can see actually that Levon is spending plenty of time. He is 5 minutes down on his.
By the way, bishop to b7. In response, after bishop to b1, there was the threat of a takes b5. I don't have time to play c4. So Wesley said, you know what? My bishop is wonderful.
So this will happen.
By the way, I have no idea whether Wesley actually knows what he's doing, whether this is his theory, because he has gained a minute on his clock. He hasn't
Exactly.
spent any
Yes,
seconds
yes. That's
on
what I
this one.
said. That Levon spent 5 minutes, and Wesley actually just saves a lot of time.
Is this a pawn sacrifice?
Perhaps.
Let's take a look. AB. AB. Give me mate on h7.
Yes, just 6.
I think g6 is more or less required.
Yes.
My rook is hanging, so I can't take on b5
Yes, first
yet.
we take.
If you take with the rook, I'm not saying you have to. This is where you can't
Yes,
take.
you cannot take. Yes, on
But
b7.
maybe you could take with the bishop on a8. And that way...
Can we show why I cannot take on e5?
Sure. Rook
I'm
is
not
on
sure
bishop.
actually
I'm not
until the end.
convinced.
I'm not convinced because of
I'm
queen
sorry.
e1 at the end.
Knight takes. I thought rook takes
No, that wasn't
was convincing.
Yeah, but
bishop
the-
a6 was my problem.
No, but even queen e5, queen b7, rook a1.
Queen
You
takes
go
e7.
back-
No, I can take your
Queen
bishop.
e7, yes, and
But
rook b1.
sorry, your move bishop a6 is
Yes.
indeed
Might be a bit
problem.
problematic.
So I
Yes.
have to play bishop f4.
Do I have knight f3? Probably not.
f6.
I can get ready for knight f3. Maybe I can go bishop a6.
Bishop to a6. Boy, you're kind of getting a little bit contorted, right? I mean, okay.
Not so sure. Bishop
Queen
d6.
e4. Queen e4 wins a piece.
Bishop d6.
Queen e4 win.
Bishop b7.
First, of course, Yasser will take first.
Aha, you take
You've
first.
been around. That's why Cristian and I
I've been
are
around,
referred
yes.
to as the brilliant grandmasters in the introduction.
But I go rook d8.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I
he
don't win a
found it, yes,
piece.
he found some.
Oh no. I'm
Treats.
not winning
it's
a piece.
It's still working, yeah.
Oh,
And
queen
the two
takes
bishops are
e5.
so strong.
Let's show
I mean,
why
it's just-
you
Yes,
take and rook
queen takes
d1.
e5, and now,
And we don't
now
even
the
have
problem's on
c4.
my side of the table because rook to d1 threatens mate
Yeah, that's
as well
that's
as
a
the
big
bishop.
problem actually.
yes.
You're losing both of your pieces.
Indeed, I am. Instead of winning a minor piece, I'm losing one.
Yeah.
Okay, but nonetheless, I think that queen d3 is at least what you want to do, which is to kind of force this weakness, and whether I play bishop here or queen e3. What would you prefer, Anastasiya? You're the attacker on the panel. After the move g6, would you like to lead with your bishop or would you like to lead with your queen? You defend e5 and you're looking at queen h6.
I like at the moment queen e3, but just maybe we have to also can we just develop, or it's too long way? Yes.
What would
can
you
we play bishop f4?
Right. Okay. From Black's point of view, Black really wants to play knight to
Knight to
d3 as
c5.
soon as possible, right? So I was thinking that how how big a contributor
Yes.
to the attack is the tempo moving bishop f4?
No, probably you're right. I mean, queen is 3
If you
idea,
put your
and
queen
you
on
put your queen ahead,
h6,
and you threaten knight g5, sometimes bishop g5. Yes, it looks more tempting. Yes. So queen is 3 now
queen
instead of bishop
e3.
f4.
I suppose I should play c4 nonetheless. And now here you can start to think,
Yes.
should I play h4? You know,
Exactly. h4 is an option. Like, you don't need to
Tender.
play queen h6 right away. You can
Right.
actually ask some questions first.
right.
Yes, h4. I like
And
this
by
move.
the way, I think Levon went for the pawn grab.
He took on b5. I think so.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, they followed our line, and after g6, he did play ab5. Wesley could have recaptured with the bishop on a8. Wesley recaptured with the rook. And coach, jump in on this action. Your move, knight takes e5.
E5.
Yeah, it works.
It's doable.
It
just
works,
fine.
yes.
It works.
Yeah, this is fine.
So, but Wesley has to find all these moves to be sure
Not
that
really.
he's doing.
Not really.
Sorry.
It's even easier.
By the way, just to interrupt everybody for a quick moment, as you said, 15 minutes
Yes.
for Wesley.
Yes.
For the first time in
He's
the game,
thinking, yes.
he's actually used some time on his clock. Levon has used half his time. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Levon
After
has
he
missed
moves.
because bishop to a6 is not the only way.
Right.
You can just simply take on e5.
As we just saw, knight takes e5. We assume knight takes e5, knight takes e5. Rook takes e5.
Didn't
Again,
work.
bishop
It
a6.
didn't work because of bishop a6.
That
Very
one
nice
is pretty straightforward.
intermezzo. I tried bishop f4
And now we also have the very simple queen d7,
as well as queen c6. Too,
as well as
right?
queen
Yes,
c6.
queen c6.
Yes.
Threatening mate would force a trade, and I break the pin in a comfy.
But what
At
about
least now you have
descending?
bishop e4,
What about
and maybe you can
descending?
pin me up somehow, right?
That's why you preferred queen d7. I understand now. So queen d7 means that you don't have bishop e4
Yeah.
at the end of that day. That looks pretty even. By the way,
looks
knight
Even
takes
Steven,
e5.
right? I
Knight
mean,
takes
this one is
e5 is on
looking
the
really
board,
good for
yes.
black.
Knight takes e5, knight takes e5. Besides my move bishop f4, I didn't see a better looking alternative.
I also believe that there is nothing.
I mean,
But also, if you don't have something, then this is a great trade for black.
Exactly.
Like, I took a central
pawn.
pawn.
Exactly, yes,
You
I
got
think-
my b5 pawn.
I'm surprised that Levon didn't go for this long fight after
Bishop f4
queen
is on
d3.
the board.
Right. I think bishop f4 is forced. Give me the move c4, give me the move queen c6, and I much prefer black. Bishop f4. Let's see what he's intended. Bishop d6.
The idea
This
is if
is
you play
pretty
knight
obvious.
f3, you will lose the piece at the end. So knight f3 is not an option, yes?
Yeah.
To be sure.
I'm not sure bishop
Let me
d6,
follow
right?
that.
Yes.
Yeah, the
If you
desirable
think that
knight
you want to
f3.
win the piece, it's not the case because b7 is hanging.
Right.
And black has no really anything on the king's side.
It was because of this variation where the bishop on b7 was hanging that the alternative recapture on a8, bishop takes a8 was what I was suggesting as well.
But then bishop a6 was not working. So let's say you always have this choice and you don't know. In one lines you have you want to have bishop on a8, in the other lines you want to have your rook on a8.
There are pros and cons
always.
for everything. Bishop to f4. Queen d7 was your move.
Sorry, bishop
please.
d6, doesn't that lose a piece, in fact?
Uh-oh. Why? How? When?
So what was the problem again? I'm trying to remember what the problem was.
We had some position where you played bishop a6.
I think it was bishop a6.
I
first,
went
right?
queen a4. You
And now
went bishop
bishop
d6. And I was so proud of myself, as was Anastasiya. We were proud of ourselves.
So we have to start with bishop
Rook
a6.
sometimes.
But why do we have to start with bishop a6? Because bishop d6, bishop takes, bishop takes.
But then I have queen takes c5 at the end, right? So
rook takes. I just wanted to pause for a moment because maybe this
Also
line,
works, yes.
I don't know if it works or not. This line, you
But I
do
have
have,
the bishop
queen
on d3.
e4, as well as bishop to d3.
right.
Yeah, and that.
I think this should be fine for white, right?
Exactly. Advantage white. This pin is nasty, but the two minor pieces should go there. Bishop d6. No By the way, bishop to d6, no inclusion of bishop a6.
Okay, so what are we missing again?
We're
So he
missing
played
something.
bishop d6, yes.
We're expecting
But
bishop
there
takes.
is also rook e5, no? Ah, no, not really.
We're expecting bishop takes, rook takes, which has happened.
Is it just... No, but bishop takes g2 doesn't make any sense. What is it?
Queen takes.
Okay,
has
he's actually
happened.
going for that.
Oh, he's going to play rook b8. Queen takes. This is a surprise. He's going to go for
And
a
rook
rook
b2?
and pawn versus two minor pieces.
Yes.
In principle, you would think that the minor pieces
Are better.
are better.
Especially if rook is 4.5. My favorite.
Yeah, the 4.5 rook.
Have you ever heard of it, Yasser?
No.
I'm really
no,
surprised.
no.
This is how...
It was wonderful. I was doing some commentaries with Grandmaster Elizabeth Pates.
Yes.
And she said, for this position, these are the rules.
I remember that,
For this
yes.
position, these are the
In
rules.
Düsseldorf.
I said, young lady, you have a lot of rules. But she had
She's
rules for
German.
every...
What do you want?
For every position had a
Everything
very
is-
specific, concrete set of rules.
You have to break some rules occasionally.
You have to break some rules. Let's pause on our rapid game for a moment and go to our Alice Lee versus Irina Krush game. Let me just refresh my board, everybody. Don't worry, I will be... Here we go. I will be...
Okay.
Things have happened. So she has played for the e4 break, and she did reach this position. Now the question is, though, if you take with the pawn, Alice, I'm assuming, is ready to go pawn hunting?
Is she, though?
That's the question.
I don't even know if I want to go rook c1.
Well, you do get a rook on the 7th. You do have a very
Threats
promising
and rook
looking
b7.
attack.
Yeah, this one is...
This looks like great compensation.
I was considering just going knight f5 instead of rook c1, just to try to go directly for the checkmate.
You mean after
Another
check,
alternative.
king h1,
Just to go for
let
the
me
check.
go, and here you go.
Also looks good.
This
Because-
feels like great compensation
Exactly.
again.
The queen doesn't get somewhere near
Rook
to
f3,
help the
rook
king.
g3
yes.
is an option
Like, no
as well.
pieces.
No pieces
to
defending
defend,
the king.
yes. Mhm.
And I always think that these knights on f5 as well as knights on f6 are really, really terrific. By the way, I think this is a demonstration of some real maturity on Alice Lee's part. She understands that the knight on f5 would be extremely problematic. She just played knight c4 and said, I'm not interested in your pawn on c3. I'm going to post up with my knight. I'm eyeballing an opportunity for knight e3.
Guys,
I like this move.
Alice Lee is completely lost.
Oh, really?
What?
Yes.
Lost already?
Lost?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What
Rook
is she-
f3.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
Rook
this move to prevent
f3.
knight s3 and queen s3.
Also to go knight f5, rook g3.
Knight f5 followed by rook g3.
I cannot believe it.
It happened
This
so quickly.
positional line became the line which...
One mistake.
Where was the mistake?
Queen
actually?
e6. She just lost a tempo.
Ah,
All the
yes.
way back.
After, back here, bishop. Oh, she played.
she played queen
She blundered
e6?
queen e6.
Well, she played
could-
queen e6.
She
but
could
I
have
don't know
played
if she
rook
blundered it.
e8 or
Yes.
a useful tempo.
Yes.
So what was this queen e6 idea?
So that was a tempo in Irina's favor.
Of course.
And then maybe the queen is actually not so good. If you're not going pawn hunting, maybe the queen is actually just a
Misplaced.
target.
That was already another mistake, but I have to say the position is extremely difficult even without queen g5.
So
Queen g5 is just an objective
Helpful.
mistake because I am going to come via the g file towards your king, rook f3, rook g3, and that rook g3 is going to come with the tempo.
exactly.
That's why she had to put the queen on d7. At the same time, it's already a very difficult position.
Wow.
And after knight c3, rook f3, the engine is saying +2.
Plus
Wow, that's a huge
Plus 2
advantage.
points already.
Wow. I mean, don't get me wrong. I prefer White's position. I just didn't realize it was so very, very good.
That's
Oh,
why
just queen e6 move, yes. Like it really felt
Right.
wrong. Yes, like you just give a tempo for your.
That's why
opponent.
Irina has such a strong score against Alice. She just knows exactly how to play against her.
Wow.
Simplify the position, and then take advantage of every single inaccuracy that the young opponent will produce. And she just has it dialed in. Irina
Wow.
has everything dialed in.
Wow, I'm more than impressed. I mean, it didn't feel like such a position. You know, sometimes you have those positions where you feel every tempo is absolutely critical.
Yes.
And every move you have to weigh
Exactly.
very carefully. This didn't,
didn't feel like that.
it.
No,
it
no,
just
no.
felt like, okay, maybe I can play rook to d8, maybe I can play rook e8.
Maybe I will have e4 on the board, but
maybe
still,
I
Black
could-
has his own ideas.
I
Yes.
can convince myself I should or should not play g6. And then suddenly one tempo, woo-woo,
And that's it.
this is a big advantage.
All it takes.
Rook f3.
What about move like knight f5? It's after knight e3.
Knight
You don't
f5,
want it, yes?
possibly knight e3 will
Knight
help
e3.
White in terms of trading, but I really did underestimate the power of rook f3 because knight g3 and rook g3 are coming with real force.
And the problem is that knight on c4, it looks like good knight, but it can also get trapped. Not really trapped, but I'm going to go e5, and you're not bringing it closer to your king, closer to the defense. Because
Queen e2. And
correct.
Yeah, you kind of want the knight. The knight is distant.
You're not going to d6. You're
Right.
not
What
going
if I
back
try
towards the
to
king.
trade queens, queen d2?
And funnily enough, I wouldn't let you.
Yes, so
How
we
you
just
play
move queen f1.
Queen
Yes.
f1.
Knight e3.
Knight e3. In this case, I will let you do it, but look at the resulting situation. Again, the knight. I'll still be with the initiative. This is really quite an unpleasant.
But I think you're being too nice.
I'm being too nice.
Yes. Cool.
By allowing this queen trade.
Where should I go?
I would go something like queen a4 or queen b3.
But isn't there
Some checkmate ideas.
little awkwardness going on? Queen
Rook
b3.
f2, but maybe it's just rook
I
f2.
do have rook f2.
Just
But queen b3 does defend this guy.
And the problem is...
and
if you-
f7 pawn is like also
A little bit target.
Yes, because
and
you
now
want-
in case of knight e3,
Rook
rook
f2.
f2,
Yes.
just keeps everything nicely
under
protected.
control.
And whoop, yeah.
Yes, and
This,
And unfortunately for you, you don't have queen b2 at that point.
rook f3, queen d2. You are making a point. You don't have queen b2.
I mean, you do have it, but it's not good, I think, after just simply taking and rook to b1.
yes, you take a pawn on b7 and
Perhaps
you are
the pawns
just
are hanging,
loosely
loosely hanging.
You won my heart. You take a pawn on b7, and I was all very excited by that. It looks like with the move rook f3, Irina is for choice. We left the game of Wesley So
At
and
the moment
Levon
when they
Aronian
trade
after the move rook b8. Let me refresh my board and just see how the players got to this particular position. And here we go.
Levon down to the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds. No, Wesley really feels supreme right now in rapid time control. He's feeling good about his play, he's confident.
Wow. Look at that.
And right now he has the advantage.
oh wow, it's already
Wesley-
he has 2 pawns and
Why not?
pass pawn.
But he saw from very, very far, rook b8, he saw that he wasn't just winning one pawn, he saw that he was going to pick up the second pawn.
Wow.
Now,
It's
Levon
unpleasant.
who has to scramble to make a draw, and he only has 3 minutes.
Yes, that c-pawn runs fast.
It certainly does. Now, how do I coordinate my
I
pieces?
think you have to bring the king. King f1, something...
He has just played the move knight e5. I was about to suggest the same idea that you were, king f1, king e2, to bring his king as a defender.
So what
now
to do now?
I'm
Let's go check. And then
King
c4,
c4.
right?
And c4, and let's go.
So what does
You know my hit song, Push 'em Baby?
Wow.
Oh my gosh, you got to put it on your Spotify list.
What?
You're laughing. Hey, man, the royalties just keep coming through the door. You'll be shocked.
I bet. I am laughing.
I think I got 4 cents last time.
I don't believe you too. It was a hit, though. It was a hit.
Yasser, what if I trade this knight for the pawn, c-pawn later on in the game, and I take a 4-pawn?
Okay.
Is it going to be a draw, this bishop and 2 pawns against rook and 2 pawns?
You tell me. First
Yes.
of all, I'm not 100% sure.
How will I do it?
How
Yes.
will you sacrifice the
I
knight?
know
king
how to do
f4.
it. I can go bishop a4.
You can
Bishop
play
A4.
bishop a4
Yes.
now.
And in
Yes,
fact,
it's
you cannot
important
go
to keep
c2
this
because
rook.
of knight d3.
Uh-huh.
And I can't
You're
play
losing
c-
a pawn.
What a
c2.
tricky move.
Ah,
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
And now we want to play knight d3 or take on a4, perhaps.
by the way, very quiet move instead was just played by Wesley after
Yes, white
knight
to-
e5. He said, my f4
Can I
pawn
go-
is a little bit weak in case of king g2 king. So let me put my rook on.
Now he wants to go bishop b5.
He wants
And-
to go bishop boy 5.
Yes.
And to make sure that this bishop stops the pawn, yes?
Correct. Make sure. But
on f3.
then the knight is going to be a little unstable. So if you go bishop b5, I think that's a very reasonable move. Don't get me
King
wrong.
g7.
King g7, king f6 on my agenda, and forcing your pieces only on a kind of
Okay,
a
so
defensive.
king g2.
Okay.
Okay.
King f6, yes,
King
and
f6.
I'm not in time even to play king f3. So if I play knight c4...
No, but
this
now I
is
have
thought.
knight d7, knight d7.
Ah, knight d7, yes. And
Oh, pardon me.
nice.
That's
but did you check the whole line? What about after knight c5, rook d5?
knight
Let's say I move
d7.
king somewhere, knight c5.
Rook d5, knight d6.
Uh-huh.
I think this should be enough.
Wow. And knight f4. Is it?
Yeah, I think that this
It
will
should
be
be
a
a draw.
table-based draw.
If I can get 2 versus 1 with the knight, I think that should be a draw.
Yes, I do too.
It reminds me a little bit, Wesley's strategy reminds me a little bit Magnus' strategy in the matches, World Championship matches. Let's play, finish with classical games and go for rapid.
Yes.
Maybe that's what he meant.
Magnus won 2 world championships that way, just
In
playing
rapid.
for the overtime rapids. King g2 on the board, and that variation we just analyzed came from king f6. Something to be said for rook d5?
By the way, king f6 would actually be a great bailout right now for Levon.
Why?
After knight to d7. I mean, he's down to his last minute and 30 seconds. I don't think he's thinking about winning this position.
Right.
He's looking for a bailout.
And that would be gratefully
It would
received.
speed things up, yes.
By the way, a line that we didn't look at, go through it again. King f6,
Yes.
knight d7 check, king f5. Last time I went
Okay,
king e7.
yes, king d7. So if
But I can do the same thing and I have knight d4 at the end.
Knight takes
With a king on
e5.
f5.
it's even worse probably because you
Yes.
Yes, bishop
now I
c4.
have to go in.
And if you take my knight, I go
Knight
bishop
d4
c4.
check.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
exactly. Exactly. Oops. So that was why king f5.
you
was
felt
not
that
a-
king e7 is better. Yes, sir. Just wanted
I was
to
trying
be
to put
sure.
my king out of
Out
any
of all
these
these dangerous squares, yes.
Oh, those tricky knights, says Grandmaster Joel Benjamin. Oh, those tricky knights.
You know what I'm just thinking, Yasser and Cristian? Like, look, Wesley played many rapid games. How many rapid games Levon has played so far? A few.
He's played quite a few.
He's
Yes.
played a few
Against
because he
Sam.
had to win in the playoffs, remember?
Yes, yes, yes.
And
So
fought
maybe
on
1,
2
2.
playoffs.
But still,
rapid.
compared to Wesley, who played like 12 rapid games, I mean, it's a different number.
Wesley has all the experience
Yes.
in the
How
whole
important
tournament.
is it, you know, that you actually... Okay, first of all, I can understand actually Wesley. He kind of says, I'm now playing rapid tournament. I want to play rapid.
Right.
Like, I don't want to come back to classical games. I'm in a shape now. For rapid.
Sorry
Oops,
to interrupt you. When Wesley played rook e4, I saw Levon playing knight d3 with a kind of a snap, like as
move.
if
Best move.
as if I'm going to win a pawn. You know, sometimes you
Yes.
have that gleeful expression. And did Wesley blunder a pawn with this move rook e4, Cristian?
After knight d3, white is fine. Yes.
White is fine.
equalized. Yes.
Okay.
Fully equalized right now.
Okay.
So knight to d3 was perhaps something that he missed. The idea being that if you do go c4, my guess is that you want to do king f3. Yes.
Nice.
And then I'm attacking
Intermediate
both
move.
the rook on e4 as well as the pawn on f4. You move your rook, I can snap the pawn on f4.
This might have been missed.
And I'm a happy
Wesley.
camper.
What I think he was calculating is perhaps c4, knight c5. And now
Okay.
you have rook e5, maybe even c3.
c3. Ooh,
Maybe
that's
even
getting very, very,
Because you
very
cannot
dangerous.
take the rook, c2. is
Yeah,
coming.
that's getting suddenly the pawn is a move away from coronation.
By the way, where is Levon? He has a minute on his clock. Did he just leave?
Oh,
Levon,
he's
come
back.
back.
He's back.
he did.
Come back.
No, probably
He
he's
did.
just sure about this position from now on.
c4. Okay, so
feels that-
c4 king. Do you see any trickies for Wesley?
I'm trying to find, but I don't see at the moment. Like after king f3, what do you do?
Right.
Like
king.
c4, king f3,
Where can I? No,
rook d4. No, nothing. Like only white is.
Yeah, it feels like he's just simply, well.
Because
what can
if
I
you don't
say?
play c4, white is threatening to take on c5. So
Is white threatening to take on c5?
That's a good point.
I
Let's
think-
come back and.
I think, for example, if you play h6,
Yes.
I would avoid taking on c5 because of this move, right? And I've got issues. My pieces are being skewered, but I do think that white's threat is actually king f3, attacking the rook.
He plays
He did
c4.
play c4,
Immediately king f3 followed.
right?
And rook d4. So I think players
The
know
players
what's
are
happening.
playing very, very
What
quickly
now? King
suddenly.
f6 probably. Yes.
King f3.
Supporting the pawn.
Rook to David 4, and a knight takes f4. That's a huge relief to get rid of that pawn.
Yes.
King
Of
f6,
course, king f6.
and
Now you're losing another pawn.
yes,
Knight
becau-
e2.
Knight e2. Okay, you can go
But then king g3.
and rook back to e4, right? And some kind of a repetition. Here we go. Knight e2. And
Asking some questions.
rook
d3
d3.
check.
No, but rook d3, I go king g2. Now you're losing that pawn.
How am I? Why would he go rook d3? Suddenly, white
Can actually
White
get
can be better. Why didn't he go rook h4?
Maybe.
If you go king g3, rook e4.
And a draw.
And then a draw would be very nicely seal the deal. But this move,
So let's go with rook h4. Maybe there's something else.
he has played king g2.
Maybe
by
there's
the way,
nothing actually.
nothing,
I don't know. I don't
nothing
see it.
else. Let me just refresh my board and get to the current position. Now, what on earth is Wesley just gave a little head shake there. And Wesley just realized, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yes.
I've lost-
How do I actually
I've lost
support
two
this pawn?
pawns.
pawns
I
in the
lost my
last
pawn
five
on
moves.
f4.
Yes.
I lost my pawn. I mean, there was an excellent opportunity. He could have used a tempo to play e5 and just keep his f4 pawn, jettison his c4 pawn, and play 3 versus 2.
You can
But
see
now,
some frustration.
now he's just simply
Bishop
worse.
takes on c4, and actually now Wesley has to
Defend.
defend. Yeah, okay, he has more time for that, but he has to.
I don't know. This is
change
not going to
his-
be an easy defense.
Yes.
This is not
easy
No,
at
no,
all.
no, 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 no. I lost one game in my career. Granda Zuniga has won against me a very nice 2 minor pieces versus rook with the pawns on the same side.
Easy for engine
learned a
to
good
give
lesson.
almost equal.
Zero,
Yes, almost
but-
0. But I mean, try to play this position yourself.
As a human being,
Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
extremely difficult. H5. I think I like that move. Just putting the pawn maybe towards
Very well
h4.
timed. Very well timed. Because if you allow me, you play h5 and allow me to go h4, then you're going to lose that pawn on h5. It's on the
Exactly.
light squares. I'm going to be able to attack it with both my bishop and the knight.
But in this particular case, h4 can be met by rook
That's the key.
to
Yes.
a4.
So you don't have time to go h4. I'm going to go h4 myself.
Exactly.
Next move.
This is nice.
It's
Played.
well,
Well played by
timed
Wesley.
by Wesley. Yes. He kind of understood, hey, it's time to pull the brakes.
By the way,
'Cause I'm in trouble.
25 seconds for Levon in this position against 6 minutes of Wesley.
sorry to be devil's advocate for just a moment. I go h3, you go h4, right?
Yes.
Now, the setup I want is I just played the move knight g1 in order to go bishop e2, bishop g4, and knight f3. Is it so easy to defend that h-pawn? If I can get those moves in, bishop
Maybe
e2.
I will play rook h, I don't know, a8 and rook h8.
That's what I want. I want
yes,
to
you want.
see.
That's too
I want
passive.
to, I
I know, I
just
don't
want
like
to see
it,
you
just-
have a passive rook, so that when I do put the knight on f3, your rook is contained, and then I'll bring my king into the center. I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's go h3, right? First of all, he didn't. Actually, let's follow the game. Knight to f4 was played.
Okay, let me just
Threatening both,
refresh my
actually,
board.
pawns, but
And I'll get him to the end of the position. He did not play h3. He played knight f4. By the way,
two pawns. But
what's going on?
actually, I was thinking that rook
But
a4
what if I go
is
h4?
possible. Rook a4.
No. Sorry, I go rook a4.
Now I take bishop e2. No, I think h4 has to be played.
Okay, excuse
H4.
me. h4 has to be played. He did play h4.
Bishop e2 is on the board.
Bishop e2. Again,
I think he's going for your plan with bishop on g4 and pawn
exactly.
on h3.
King
It
f5.
just
What's
looks like a
But wait a minute. Where do you put the
e5.
e5? Okay.
Okay, so my knight now has to
Jumps to e3. I don't like this move e5 at all, actually. That knight coming to e3. I don't want to see that. Because now king goes to h3. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on your h4 pawn.
There will be rook a2. Your king going to h3. Okay, king f. Wow. Wesley is playing this, I can't say it any other way, but in ultra aggressive fashion.
Exactly, yes.
Could he be thinking to himself, after knight e3 check, king f4, I want to play
think he
rook takes e3
King f4.
and get into a...
Actually, you know what? If he plays now rook e3, f takes e3, king e3, he will get to descending h pawn and the bishop, yes, which is drawish.
Not sure.
But I'm not sure with h pawn if
By
it's
the way,
a draw.
king h3, so he's going for your
Really?
idea.
No, I don't think you can.
Shall we?
No,
But
because
you're
I
not
don't
bringing
think...
Because king is far, yes?
It's too far.
Because king
Okay,
h4.
tell me, show me, tell me.
Because
Takes,
bishop
takes.
is hanging.
Takes, I put bishop here,
King goes back.
and I don't think your king gets to the corner.
I'm afraid, yes, I'm not on time.
That's
Even
it.
though...
No.
No, it's not.
It doesn't
So
get to the corner.
that's why he played king g5. He doesn't like the idea of rook e3.
And he sidesteps, for example, there was rook a2. He sidesteps with the king on g5, ideas of knight g2 check as well. And
Was
now
it
the
some rook
bishop is
a2?
coming. Bishop comes to f3.
He could play
Makes
maybe-
knight. It makes sense. King f4. I really don't like the way Wesley is defending this ending. The bishop is just, I mean, for me, Levon is making incremental but good progress.
Oh, yes.
Oops, what was that? Bishop f3, king f4.
Maybe they will repeat.
What are the clock
No,
times?
bishop d5.
If you don't mind?
Actually, yes, Levon is playing with seconds now. 38 seconds against 5 minutes of Wesley.
Okay, so for the moment, this pin is a little bit awkward. This knight really belongs on f3, king on g2, pawn on h3. I think that's the construction that Levon wants. I think it's time to just play king g2 and reset the pieces.
Yeah, actually, that's why he's spending some time on this move. He wants to find
18
the
seconds.
setup, yes, and then just play it.
He played this move, it looks like, with what, 14 seconds on his
Maybe
clock?
knight g... No, you cannot do this because of...
The pin. So...
Maybe rook c3.
Maybe bishop g4.
Or rook d3.
I'm trying to find out...
What setup would you like?
I'm trying like bishop g4, f3, knight g2, but I cannot do this because rook is so annoying on a3.
I like the bishop
Yes.
on d5 personally. I would have put the king on g2 and the pawn on h3 as soon as possible, and I would bring the knight to f3 as advertised some time ago. For Wesley, he has 4.5 minutes. The engine is saying equal, or what is the engine saying about this one?
Even, yes.
Even?
Yes. This one is even, but Okay, slightly better for white, obviously. White is the one dictating
The
pace
action.
of the game. Whether I want to draw with white, I can do it at any time.
Yes.
Rook e6, bishop c4.
Rook back to a3, most likely.
I'm assuming rook a3 for sure.
Still hasn't played it. He sees something that he doesn't like.
And Levon is trying to use time of his opponent,
Rook
actually.
f6.
Rook f6. Rating.
Rook f2.
Yes.
King g2.
Maybe he's helping him to get the
To
setup. which
find
you
the setup. I
about.
really want to play h3, knight to g4,
Rook f8.
and knight to h2, and knight to f3. I'd also like my bishop on the d5 square. With my knight on f3, my bishop on d5, my pawn on h3, only the h4 pawn is a serious weakness. Levon isn't finding
Bishop
the setup
E2,
he wants
okay.
yet.
There's the bishop coming back.
Bishop to e2.
But he has all time in the world, to go
Yes.
around. That's the point.
Yes, that's the thing too. Your opponent's moves can leave you spellbound. He just moves over here, moves over there, moves over here, and then suddenly your e pawn is undefendable. Rook to d8.
But I'm sure Wesley is not so unhappy about himself, like to win 2 pawns in descending and then to give them.
It was 4 versus 2, and now it's 2 versus 2. What
Unbelievable. Like what went wrong? Like how could I give all those?
Shocking developments.
I feel he just relaxed. I think he was already seeing himself as the favorite to win that one.
Right.
And he was just trying to put more pressure on Levon's clock, which he successfully did up to that point.
Right.
But he just missed those
pawns.
Those knight jumps. They're so tricky.
Right.
So bishop g4. Yeah.
Bishop g4.
h3 next.
Yeah, Wesley has to...
e4.
e4.
Or that's a concession.
Wow.
Making sure knight will not go to f3 now.
That's one thing, but it also means that the pawn will be perpetually assaulted, under assault by the bishop. Committing the pawn to h4 was a kind of a good news.
But e4?
On a dark square, committing the pawn to e4. Okay, that...
The question is, how do you attack it, right?
With the
you
king.
have to go with the king now, yes.
Let's say king f4. Like, what's your setup?
Well, king f4, I want to go, again, knight to g2.
Look at the difference, Yasser. Now
Right.
I actually threaten to take on e3, I think. There is no king on h3 with king h4 ideas.
Absolutely.
That is true.
So you need to keep the king on e2.
Yes, you have to actually defend against this idea, rook e3.
The threat was indeed rook takes e3.
And transferring into the drawish ending.
Right.
Perhaps this is the way.
I think somehow for Wesley, he's gotten a kind of a terrific defensive setup.
Yes.
With the pawn on h4 and the pawn on e4.
He's also just very good at defending.
And he's also just very good at defending.
He's really good at defending.
Okay.
Knight e7, hello, alert.
Knight g6.
There is an alert.
Bring that king back.
Probably rook b2 first, no?
King f4 first?
Oh,
or
king
rook
f4
b4?
is...
Rook
But
b2
knight g6.
is very natural as well.
Rook
Queen, king
b2
g5.
is also very... Rook b2, e3? No, sorry.
rook
there's
b3
knight,
back.
There's a knight f5. Sorry, I'm trying desperately to trade some
Yeah,
pawns.
so he plays rook b2, making sure the king will go to the first rank.
King f1 most likely.
King
King
e1.
e1. Okay.
Okay, no harm, no foul. I still think king of... Well, in this case, check.
e3. he
E3.
plays
e3.
Wait a
Shocking
minute.
a little bit. Let's see.
It's truly
Maybe he
shocking.
has...
By the way, this is 3 pawns. It was 4 versus 2. Now it's going to be 2 versus 1.
Gave
so
them all
he's
away.
Okay, let's
gave
see.
3 pawns.
Will you take the pawn?
Yes.
King e4, knight f5. Yes, maybe there is rook b5. I'm
Okay,
trying to
Wesley
understand what's
is
going
thinking
on. Knight f5, okay, and now?
that his
What's your idea, Wesley?
Okay, this is
activity
losing. Knight b5, rook b5.
is
Oh,
worth...
he just wants to give a lot of checks, right?
Yes. Maybe, or he's asking how will you improve your position because knight is not moving, bishop
Well,
isn't
I'll tell
moving.
you how I'm improving.
You'll
my
take
position.
this.
I'll
Pick
take
up
a
a pawn.
pawn.
Why not?
And then it's 2 versus none.
But the thing is, once I eliminate the e3 pawn, I will always have the option of giving my rook for the knight and then running to the corner.
Checks.
Oh, by the way, I think I'm just going to refresh my board and get to the fight.
Levon will just try to. He's
I
trying to
don't-
get some time.
I don't see
moving
it. I
his
think this
king.
is fine.
Right.
This is fine for Wesley.
So what
You
do-
will have to take on h4, and then I will take on e3, and then I will find a way to give my rook away for your knight, and then just run to
It's
the
not
corner.
only about this, like how to get rid of, how you will improve your king. I mean,
Correct.
this rook on second rank, I mean, makes
Very
your
annoying.
life difficult.
Very annoying.
Yeah, no, this one
Wow.
seems to be okay for
This
Wesley.
is really active defense, I would put it this way.
Yeah, very much
This is
so.
great example of-
Ultra aggressive defense.
I was thinking that you should just stand and wait and kind of ask
Exactly.
questions, how will you improve your position? Wesley has a different approach. He just
Then
says that
active-
I have my active rook, I have my active king. Okay, yes, no material, already gave 3 pawns in last 20 moves, but it's still draw.
Knight
Wow.
d6. At least he should try the last.
What's
the
his
last
last
trick?
Knight
try?
d6, if you take on e3, knight c4, yes?
Yes.
Nice. Look at this.
96.
Knight d6. My
Oh,
last try.
no last trickies.
Now he moved
King
his rook.
f1, rook a2. Finally, knight takes h4 is on the board. King
takes
takes
on e3.
e3.
Yeah.
He made
the
sure
problem
the
is if you
king
go
is
knight
at least
g2, I
on
can just simply
f1.
go rook takes g2.
Knight g2. This is the ending that we've been thrashing about, is this idea that once the black king gets to the corner, even though I'm a bishop and a pawn down, the game would be a draw. So that is the ending that Wesley aspires for.
Yeah, if it was a different pawn.
Right.
On,
Yes.
On the other side, probably was losing.
He just played knight g6, trying to avoid the loss of the knight, by the way. So I think I should hunt down the knight.
Yes.
Something like rook here and rook here to.
Yes. That's exactly what he's doing.
He's hunting down the knight suddenly. He went rook a6, I believe. Pardon me. Knight to
He's going
e7.
knight hunting.
Rook
There it is.
Knight
a7.
f5, I guess. Yeah, how do you move this pawn also? Good question.
Knight f5 check.
King e4 or king d4 actually.
Knight d5 he played. Knight d5 check.
Oh, pardon me. Apologies. Knight d5 check. King to e4. Knight to c3 check. Okay, you got to say Levon's doing his best to avoid losing his knight to an exchange sacrifice. Knight c3 check.
Another idea is to actually sacrifice this rook for the bishop and pawn. Rook
Yes.
g7 with the idea just bishop, rook g4.
Basically, you want to sacrifice the exchange
yes,
to stop,
for
right?
whatever. Yes, actually,
It's
you're
kind of in a difficult
how to protect your
minor
bishop
pieces.
or
Actually,
knight.
on that note, it's kind of funny, but the move rook here, almost
rook where?
Rook to a4, it almost seems to allow you to sacrifice your rook for one of the minor pieces.
But it doesn't, right?
I know
It doesn't
it
because
doesn't.
the knight is.
And Wesley just kind of looked at his
Actually, after king g2, there is a threat knight f3 checkmate. Yes.
Yes.
sweet,
This is how you
sweet.
can lose it. If you want to lose it, you can lose it.
There are those problems where it's like helpmate. You have to discover a way of forcing your opponent to checkmate you.
Yeah, I'm very good at this, you know.
World class.
Very cooperative.
World class. King h4, just hanging around the pawn. Knight f5 check. King g5. That's the type of move you can play very quickly, by the way. Knight to g5.
You don't have
Any
anything
other?
else.
There are no other legal options. King
E2.
e2. Is now the time to
Play rook a4.
well to
Can
try
I just
to
like check you for infinity right now?
check? Well, that's the question that Wesley is about to pose.
Yes.
Check, check.
Check.
And now what? Rook
takes
g4.
Rook takes g4.
Yes, rook takes g4. And this is a draw.
Wesley will not be pleased with himself.
He's laughing, yes, you can see
It's
him.
like, I insist that you have an advantage. Let's check the other game going on, because when we left it, Alice Lee was in quite a spot of bother.
She actually played what I predicted, Queen D2 move.
She did?
She tried to exchange the queens, yes. I kept my eye on this game for a bit.
Yeah.
And it happened what we discussed. Rook F3 followed, remember, Yasser?
Did it? Yes, I'm just refreshing. Oh my goodness, you're absolute. Well, no, wait, that might be, I beg your pardon, that might be our analysis.
No, that's
No,
exactly
this
what
is the
they played.
game. This is the game.
That's the game,
Yes,
yes.
we have predicted everything. Queen D2 and Knight E3.
Wow.
That's the game, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And we actually mentioned that, yes, this queen will be placed quite well.
But is
But you
this a
don't
little,
have Rook F1.
This is a little scary, isn't it? Because I can go Rook to E1.
And nurse this.
I've got a pretty nasty and direct threat of Rook F3. Are you going to go Knight G4?
Looks like that. What else?
What else, right? So I go Rook, give me your Queen.
Queen D2.
Queen D2.
Give me your Queen, Rook E2, or Rook D1. I'm not sure. Okay, I'll pick one. Quick.
Yes, the Queen
C1, let's
C1, Rook
say.
F1.
Queen C1, Rook F1.
Queen G5, only move.
Yeah.
Wow. And finally, I've got my setup, right? I've got
Yes.
my knight on F5.
Can
By
I
the way, this
attack
guy,
it?
what am I
You can take a
doing?
pawn if you want.
Holy smokes. How could
You missed that.
I was a little bit afraid of Queen H4.
Yes.
In my own defense.
Queen H4, Queen takes C7.
Oh,
H2
no.
mate.
Queen H2. That's a problem. Because you have knight on G3
No,
in this
I'm
line. Yes.
saying-
Oh, with the knight on
Yes,
G3.
yeah, that's a problem,
Yes.
yes.
I had seen
Confusing me, Yasser. You're
I
putting
know,
moves that
I'm
are not even
confusing
on the board.
myself. I'm confusing myself. Let me just refresh my board and get to the current position, because, again, I just feel like opportunity is being presented here for Irina.
No, but maybe there was, she had no better option.
Alice did not.
Maybe
yes.
Really?
the position was just really not good. So she decided at least to try to create some kind of counterplay.
I like it.
Okay.
I think this is the practical choice.
So do we have... We don't yet have the move Rook E1 for Irina.
Can
Other
we have
moves?
some tricky moves like H3? Maybe we don't have time, like, to make sure this knight has no squares.
By
But
the
he
way,
always
not
can
a
escape through C4, probably, yes. Like just
H3
let's give it a but knight on G3 will be a problem, yes? That's
It is hanging, but okay. But I
The way
consider
I
the
think.
I like the fact that you're hunting the knight.
Yes.
You're trying to trap
yes.
the knight. H3. It might be just a timing issue, but that's a pretty decent move. Let's just remind everybody of the two results thus far and our schedule. Let's start with the results.
Yes,
Here
so we
go.
have two results in the open section. Levon, Aronian, and Wesley made two draws. First in the classical game and then in rapid game. We just saw it.
Quick day
Yes,
for
for them.
for the open section there, as the classical game was a short draw.
Yes, Wesley
Rapid
will
game.
have black pieces as well.
And our schedule that we have today is going to be repeated all tomorrow, with the
Exactly.
possibility of an additional blitz playoff if necessary.
Absolutely. And we also have day number 10 with Great American Cup, Blitz Cup.
Yes, yes, our grand finals, should any one of our eliminated players win their matches. If Alice Lee or Wesley wins their match, then on that day 10, there will be a rapid decider, as well as the blitz.
This shot, Irina is thinking, Alice is walking around, still
Unfortunately
keeps
for
her eye
our
on the
Alice,
game.
there's no other games.
Yeah,
that she can watch.
Yeah, yeah.
can watch.
Were you a pacer when you were playing? Did you like to get up for the board?
I did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like to socialize even during the game, and just cannot...
See, they took away that rule.
Yes, you
You
cannot
can't
talk
say
to anyone.
hello.
Oh, okay, but at least you can walk around, see people and kind of.
Just nod your head even if you can't say anything.
People watching. Yes.
Did you have Sitzfleisch at the Germans
I was
say
always
Sitzfleisch?
a pacer, and that actually is
pacer.
kind of a pretty bad thing to have.
Yes.
It's really not good because you don't use your time wisely. You don't use
And
your opponent's time wisely either.
Right.
And very often, your opponent makes a move and then you're
minutes
like
go
5
by.
minutes away from getting back to your board, right? Which is already quite a lot. So that's why also I was always in time trouble.
Right.
Always in time trouble.
There is this player Yannis Papagiannou from Greece who actually, while he's playing his game, he's checking all the other games in the playing hall and he can repeat all of them at the end of the day.
Really?
He's playing all of them at the same time.
This amazing.
He has amazing memory.
Wow.
This is what I heard. People are talking about it. I also know that, for example, Alina Danilyan was telling me when she's playing for the national team, she's trying to evaluate the position on all boards. And again, she's like, I'm not playing only my game, I'm playing also all the other games to be sure what's going on and let's say which kind of decisions she has to make as the leader of the team, like if she needs a draw or if she needs to fight for the victory, depending on what's going on the other board.
I understand her
What
completely.
about like when you play for the team, Yasser? Do you
that's
have
the
this
worst
approach?
because I have that problem, what you mentioned of Lena. I'm looking at all the games and evaluating, okay, we need to score 2.5 out of because the Russians will have this, and and those thoughts are going through my mind. So these team competitions are really, really difficult. I used to be a pacer, then I stayed at the board, and the person who cured me was Garry Kasparov. His games were so interesting, I was getting into time trouble. So I said, that's it, I'm not looking anymore.
Exactly.
Kostya with Levon.
Thanks, guys. Here with Levon Aronian after his draw in the rapid game with Wesley. Levon, can you give us a few thoughts about the game?
Yeah, so this is, typical line that I employ occasionally. Not a particularly great line for white, but just to get a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he surprised me a bit on this a6 queen c7. I wasn't sure where this is going, but bishop a2 doesn't make much sense. I didn't understand why I didn't play bishop b3. Once I played bishop a2 and he took and played b5, I realized that bishop b3 actually is much stronger because c4 is never an option.
Take.
Yeah, and I take on c6. So I don't know what I was thinking about.
And if black just recaptures?
Well, then I'm a pawn up.
Oh, you're just taking on c4. Yeah.
Yeah, so I allowed this b5, and I felt there has to be something. Okay, e5 is the principled move. Here, this looks logical. I was thinking about this stuff. Something like queen e3. But I wasn't so sure this is going anywhere. Like knight a5, knight d2. I don't know. I felt that maybe this is the logical way to play, but knight b6, something like this. I was also a bit worried that, if things don't work out, black is doing fine.
Right.
Yes.
And then you're kind of taking some risk, right, going for...
Yeah, I was worried about taking too many strategical risks. And then I thought, all right, first I will take here, and then if he captures to the bishop, then I can do similar type of things, but I already don't have that risk because, the rook is gone. This, of course, caught me by surprise. And, I think I should go for this. Yeah, here somehow, I think I kind of panicked here. I mean, this rook b8 stuff, I didn't see from distance. And then, here, g4 looks like a natural move, but, well, I saw that I can play knight d3 and then, on knight e3, knight d1, but I don't know, I felt that g4 is more logical. And I think here it should be close to a draw. Okay, maybe it's easier to play with black, but somehow it's not such a danger for me.
Yeah. Did you think you had any chances later on, once you got the pawns back?
Yeah, when he blundered? I didn't think so, actually. I was kind of happy that that I'm not. Okay, if Black wants to draw, he can go Rook D2, Rook C2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but here I think Wesley was nervous as well.
That's clever.
Yeah,
just following the mission.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, but of course, this position cannot be anything for me.
All right. Well, 2 more games tomorrow. You've got White in that first classical game.
Yes.
What will be your approach?
I'll try to put some pressure. I'll think about my ideas in the opening. So, well, the usual stuff.
I know you can't give anything away, but I have to ask.
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys, back to you in the studio. Thank you, Levon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kostya. A little surprised that Levon didn't feel that 2 minor pieces offered him anything. The computer certainly agreed with him on that game. Cristian, your thoughts on those 2 draws?
Expected.
Expected?
Expected, yes, especially after the first one. The second one obviously could have gone either way, but it did feel like Wesley was the one in control up until the end when he gave up 2 pawns for nothing. But he was in control. With black pieces, it's not as easy to create any sort of separation. He managed to do so. If he would have paid a bit more attention towards the end, I think he could have given Levon a run for his money in that one. In fact, I think he could have taken him down because of the time difference.
Also,
Levon had a minute at that point before he picked up those 2 pawns and before Wesley blundered. If he wouldn't have, I'm sure the pressure would have piled on. And with 30 seconds on the clock, with 10 seconds on the clock, you can make mistakes in any position.
Easily. And the current position for the ladies, I was going to say that when we left it, we really liked Irina's position. I just wanted to see... No, again, I'm a little bit surprised that Irina has not played Rook E1. She may be looking at your move, Anastasiya, H3. The reason I had rejected it was because maybe there's some bailout mechanism with Knight C2 and the idea of trading the knights.
But maybe you can win a pawn, Rook C2 and Queen B7.
Oh, excuse me.
But maybe, okay, yes, let's see.
Yeah, excuse me. Anytime it must be investigated. Pawn sacrifices, and you are defending E4. And
she is spending a lot of time.
Yes.
Time.
28 minutes against 48, so it's like 20 minutes difference on time.
She's been thinking for the last 20 minutes.
She has played Rook F3. Okay.
Is it a repetition? No?
Is that some sort of an invitation to make a draw?
Queen to D2.
No, she should
Queen to D2 threatens mate. There's no choice.
You have to play Rook F2.
No,
Rook
we
A2.
do have Rook A2.
No, Queen E1.
Queen E1, Knight F1. I can take on E4.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So Queen D2. I'm more or less feeling obliged to play Rook F2.
Maybe she just wants to repeat once and then play
Well,
whatever.
it was a 20-minute thing. Maybe she wants a minute back.
Exactly.
Play quickly 2 moves at least. But she did have a long think on the move Rook F3. A little bit of a dream for Alice. Iron Nemesis to make a draw with black. And
of course.
Especially in this position.
And
when
then have
recognizing
two white pieces.
That in this position, in this particular position, by the way, Rook E1, still a very big advantage. Pardon me, not just still, but a very big advantage for white, for Irina.
You know, Yasser, I think she could actually, with Rook on F3, now I found out you can still play, I think, Rook F1, because it's a pin.
Well, no.
I mean, with Rook A to F1.
At which moment?
Instead of Rook F2. Yes, here. Queen is on D2. Yes, Queen is
so
on
it
D2.
happened Knight C4, and we just saw there
yes,
from
then
the
they repeat, yes.
face cam that she played quickly. And by the way, Irina also played very quickly. And we do have some repetition.
This is the moment right now. If she plays Rook F3, that's it.
That would be a three-time repetition.
With Queen D2, I think that's 3 times.
What do you think is dissuading Irina from Rook E1? I don't even see why. I mean, she should be eager to play Rook E1 in my view.
Right. Not sure. No, that's a very difficult question. I don't know which ghosts she's seeing, because Rook to E1, first of all, you're not missing any pawns. You're not dropping any
You're
pawns.
threatening to play Rook F3.
It's a normal position,
Yes.
right?
Right.
You're not risking anything in the position.
But the real point is, are the queen and the knight targets?
I feel she will go. No, she's not.
Wow. A rook with this move, Rook F3, a draw offer, essentially, and with the move Queen D2, she could write down the move Queen D2.
That she went for Rook F3. I was certain that she's going to go something else. Rook E1, maybe something else.
Too. So after the move Rook F3, Alice Lee can tell the arbiter, write the move Queen D2 on her score sheet, call the arbiter over, say, I commit myself to playing the move Queen D2, and I'm claiming a 3-move repetition. The arbiter will approve her claim if we
Maybe we can see the face cam.
Yes.
As she's looking, it seems like
she's just trebling, checking
her
score
we
sheet.
We never know what really is happening with players. Maybe she doesn't feel well today. Yes, look at the Wesley.
Of somebody who is really checking their score sheets.
Yes, to be sure that it's a right claim. Yes.
Right.
Wow. No, maybe just Irina doesn't feel well today. Maybe she feels sleepy. I'm sure it's not chess reasons. This is what I'm trying to say.
Irina looks like she's reconciled herself. That it's a draw.
She's made her decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
She spent 20 minutes on it. It seems like this was her decision.
Yes.
Now, again, for everyone, the Open Championship, those games have been played. Should a draw occur here, there will be a pause followed by a rapid game.
Exactly. Interesting. I mean,
I'm stunned.
Yes.
I really am stunned. I don't know what Irina was frightened about, but
that's
the move
why we
Rook
have
E1.
Kostya. Kostya will ask her
That's
everything. Yes,
why we have Kostya.
he will ask her, like, why did you decide to go for repetition? Maybe she didn't evaluate the position like a really better one.
No, of course not.
Sometimes,
clearly,
like sometimes.
If you don't feel like you have an advantage, I get it. But in this case, I think we're influenced by the engine to be sure, but also the position really does feel like advantage. And
what she
by
needs
the way,
to do,
Alice has not jumped on.
Right. What she needs to do, just write it down first.
Yes.
Write that move down first, and maybe she already did. Can we zoom in? Do we have zooming capabilities?
To check the move?
We probably don't.
No.
Did
But
she?
look,
we actually have zooming capabilities.
You get it.
And the producers answer.
Do we see a move?
For black.
Do we see the Queen D2 move
We see
there?
a beautiful score sheet, by the way.
Yes.
It's not there yet.
No, it's not there.
It's not
She's
there.
still
It's
thinking.
not on the board.
It's not there yet.
It's
All
not on
she
the
has
score
to do,
sheet yet.
she needs to write that down.
You know who had very good handwriting? Peter Lako. His score sheets look like a work of art.
I can tell.
I had horrible writing, yes. Like you couldn't understand
Mine was
anything.
good. Korchnoi and Benko were the worst. You had no idea what their scrawls were. It was just terrible.
But you can easily tell from their personalities, right? It feels like.
Can you feel it from my personality, Cristian?
Yes.
That I will write
I would say
like a chicken.
Chaos.
I would say pretty chaotic. That's my guess.
Oh my God.
Not a bad thing.
How does it look
It's not a bad thing.
I
It's
would
just
have
the way-
imagined that you were a very correct person. And
No,
here we
Yasser.
go. She is writing down her move.
Good,
and again,
good.
the proper way of doing it is you write down your move, you commit yourself
She's
to
talking to
making
her
that
player,
move
yes.
regardless.
And now you stop
And
the
to
clock.
the arbiter,
You stop
yes.
the clock, you ask the arbiter, and you say, Mr. Arbiter, I am committing myself to the move Queen D2. The arbiter says, go ahead, put it on the board, and
Yes,
I
and
do
it's a draw,
agree.
yes. So.
Yep.
Wow, we have a result.
Shocking.
And by the way, for Alice Lee, this is a brilliant start.
Yes.
Just a brilliant
she
start
never
to a
had
match.
Such a great start.
To draw on the black side of the classical game,
Yes, and have
guarantee
rapid
yourself
game
two
ahead of you.
whites. And let's jump to Kostya, who is with Wesley So.
Yeah, because probably gonna start at 4.
Hey guys, I am here with Wesley So, who just drew the rapid game against Levon. Wesley, can you tell us a few thoughts about this game?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's rapid, so I've always liked playing.
Oh, sorry, this mouse won't work.
I've always liked playing the Sicilian Najdorf. Like I actually played a lot online. Like it's I just like the structure where white basically wastes a lot of time moving his kingside knight, and then next move you're gonna kick it again. And I just like this structure with the knight on f6, bishop e7, bishop e6, knight e7. But unfortunately, there's too much theory. That's why I rarely play it. But I was surprised Levon played bishop c4. He's played this in a few games. But I've also played it myself with white, and actually I've studied it for white, and I didn't think it was much. Like Ray played
you played this against Ray, right? The bishop c4.
Yeah, he went for g6, which is probably an even easier way to equalize. Like g6, bishop g7, and then e6 to combine both. But I also looked at e6, and I was hoping to get a fighting game, try to force the issue, that one of us will win. But yeah, here he played knight f1, and then not really sure what the best move for black here is. I mean, maybe rook d8 is also possible to prepare d5. And if the bishop retreats, then you can go b5. But yeah, generally white just wants to trick black. Like Richard Report had the game last year where his pawn played rook b8, and then white just got a big advantage. Basically, once you get this structure, like takes, bishop b1 here, white has a huge advantage. And so, I mean, bishop c4 has become quite fashionable lately. I think Magnus also played it against me last year, and he's also played a few times. Richard has played it. But apparently here in this position, d takes c4 is a mistake according to the computer. So the best move is d4 just to gain some space, and then after e5 either knight d7 or knight d5. But I've seen d4 before, but I thought d takes e4 looked a lot more natural, and here I was quite happy with my position after bishop b7 because pawn e5 is weak. If I could get c4, knight c5, I could quickly become better. But the computer is not impressed, recommends knight g5 or queen d3. Like, I guess I thought black is doing very well here, but the computer doesn't like it. But fortunately for Levon, he was spending a lot of time, so it wasn't easy to play, so he decided to simplify with ab5 takes. And
yeah, he mentioned he was considering that line, but yeah, wasn't sure.
He did consider it. Yeah, apparently white is just better, but I mean, that's the thing with computer these days. When you look at it from a human perspective, and it seems that black is completely fine, but then the engine likes space and an initiative on the king side, attack on the king. So it's a very interesting position. But yeah, he decided to simplify, and I guess it was pretty drawish. Like I could play queen c6, and the game would probably end there. But I was trying to keep the game going just because it looked very interesting. So
definitely seemed like it worked out. I mean, for sure you were the one playing it for this for the win.
No, I was just playing like, okay, yeah, maybe knight e3 and then c4, bishop d3, bishop f1, and it's a fortress. No, I think it's just a draw. Like he probably missed rook b3, and he was unhappy that he had to give up a second pawn. But fortunately for him, my king is a bit too passive. Like if I don't play f5 now, then he could bring the bishop to f1, and then probably just a draw. Meanwhile here, the knight on e5 is very well placed, so I didn't see anything. For example, here Levon mentioned knight takes, and I guess it's just a draw. Is it a draw?
I mean, I wouldn't trust this engine too much. Actually, I would trust your eval more. Actually.
Oh, okay, because I could have gone for this, and because if it goes here, then I guess my king infiltrates king e4 or something. Yeah, but he and I both thought that that this endgame is a draw. I mean, I don't know.
feel like I would take your guys' word for it. Well, you got 2 more games.
Okay, probably just a draw. But anyway, I blundered with rook e4, and here I just blundered everything. But fortunately, fortunately, it's still a draw because all I need to do is hunt his knight down. Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty decent game, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you got 2 more games coming up. How do you rate your chances?
Well, I still got chances. I'm not sure how big they are, but I'm still alive. Like, I wouldn't rate my chances very highly 4 days ago because I had to win 3 matches in a row. And especially, like, I have to go through Fabi. It was very tough. And also Ray's very good form. But I still got chances, and as long as I got chances in a tournament, I will fight and give my best. So I'll rest up and try to give my very best tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Wesley. We'll wish you the best of luck and look forward to those games.
Yes, thank you.
Guys, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Kostya, and thank you, Wesley. Indeed, Wesley confirming a lot of our evaluations about that particular ending. Results, Anastasiya, we have 3 results.
3 results so far. So we have 2 draws in the match between Wesley and Levon Aronian. They're done for today. We'll see them tomorrow. And Irina, Krush, and Wesley will play the rapid game. So don't go anywhere. We will have the rapid game soon after they have had a draw in the first classical game.
Still a lot of confusing questions to ask about the classical game, but the schedule of play today and for tomorrow. We're on day 8.
So for today we have 1 rapid game left.
Remaining.
So we had already 2 classical games in both sections. Day number 9 will bring us 1 more classical game and then 1 rapid game. Actually, we'll have all of them, it seems. Nobody is leading at the moment. We'll see, yes.
I'm just being told that 4:15 is when the rapid game is 4:15 Central Time, our time, when the rapid game is going to be played between Irina and Alice. And please tell me what's going on in this final position because it just looks so good for Irina, Cristian.
Yes, I've been trying to kind of understand what she was calculating, why she was afraid to play that move, rook to e1, right? So perhaps let's try to take a look. Rook to e1, I think this is what she was worried about. c5. Black needs to do something. If you don't do something and attack the center like this, I will just have easy moves to take over the initiative. Knight to f5, rook f3, rook g3 is what I'm thinking about.
Sure.
So I'm sure she was calculating c5.
Okay.
And trying to understand how is the position after d5. If you do take on c5, which also makes a lot of sense, the problem is I have this move. Knight to g4. And now my queen goes back via the d file. Now my knight has a very beautiful square outpost on e5. And despite the fact that you got the extra pawn, right now I have some play in the position as black. What she was calculating most likely was d5. Okay. Because if I manage to get the passer, couple that with the knight coming to f5, couple that with maybe e5 as well, this is over, right?
Right.
Unless you have something on the queen side as black. So you have to go c4.
Right.
And I'm sure this is something that she was calculating. At which point, the only move, in fact, to preserve the advantage.
Queen b1?
Queen b1.
Really?
Yes.
What happens if you take on b7? Just
if you
to
take on b7, I think I'm going to take on c3.
I don't have time for rook f7.
Maybe I can even start with knight to g4.
This starts to be a little bit
Knight to g4, rook to f3, queen to d2. I'm hitting your pieces, right?
Right.
And then I will have idea of knight to e5, knight to d3. The b file being opened after queen to b1, for example, I can even go rook to b8. I'm getting somewhere, right?
Right.
I'm getting some sort of compensation in the position. It's still fine for white, but black has compensation. In fact, at this point, full compensation. So I do believe that this is what she was looking at, and perhaps queen to b1 was something that she missed or she didn't understand the ramifications after, right? Queen to b1 is very difficult to calculate all of this because there's so many questions and possibilities at every corner.
But still, after queen b1, she can see this position and feel very good about her chances, right? Because that rook f3, and if you force queen b1,
if we trade, this is looking
then I'm
good.
Happy.
Looking really
I like Anastasia's move h2, h3 here, ensnaring the knight. The b7 pawn is hanging.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Exactly. Maybe she just simply did not see queen to b1, and the idea being, sorry, excuse me.
Easy to miss this queen b1 idea.
After queen to b1, excuse me.
Yeah.
Maybe if you do take on c3, now I go rook f3.
Right.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. because queen to
Knight.
c2, you can
I'll
just
take the
simply
knight.
take, and then the rook protects the queen on b1.
Bingo.
So you don't actually have an opportunity, a moment to take the pawn on c3.
Right.
But it's not an easy calculation. I've looked through other variations. They weren't giving white such a big advantage.
Okay.
This was the only one that was.
So it was basically the c5.
I think
move
c5.
that
I think this is
threw
what she was
Irina
worried about.
A little bit off kilter.
This move.
Okay.
Right here after rook to e1, I think
Right.
this is what she was worried about. And I'm sure Kostya is going to ask those questions.
This is
And I'm sure Irina
to-
is going to divulge whatever she was calculating, right?
Yes. Luckily for Alice, she doesn't play with black pieces again. Yes, so because you had
Two whites in a row. That's not bad. What's not to like about that?
Exactly, exactly. So
And she's had great success in her match against Begim yesterday with the white pieces.
Exactly.
Yes.
Lost the first one, bounced back-to-back victories, in fact, with the white pieces. So definitely an opportunity tomorrow. Well, actually,
today and also tomorrow.
Yeah,
yes,
for-
she
at
has two white
4:15
pieces,
Central.
exactly.
Yes, that's
Yes.
when they're starting their next game.
Yeah.
Rapid encounter with Alice having the white pieces.
And we'll tee up for this rapids. We'll just get our rapid results in order and how they do against one another. As we know, Irina has been the dominant player when these two do face in these mini matches. This will be their sixth.
Sixth
It
match,
is their
yes.
sixth mini
It's
match
already, yes.
over the three American Cup tournaments. Irina winning the first 5. Boy, that sounds rough.
Well, we
I
have
mean-
7th match. Yasser, what is your feeling? Like,
Could
be. Everything is possible, yes.
It very well could happen. And again, scheduled today is actually the same as tomorrow. We'll be playing classical and rapid, and maybe a blitz playoff.
I have feeling one for sure. We have.
Just before we go on a break, we have a promo on the World Chess Hall of Fame music series. We've mentioned it before. It's worth mentioning again. The World Chess Hall of Fame holds a series of musical concerts, and really so many great artists come to town. It's fantastic. There's the full lineup on the World Chess Hall of Fame's website for all of the information you need for your season tickets or just to make reservations. Do check it out, and there you see some of the really marvelous artists that come. I've been very, very fortunate living in St. Louis. I get to meet a lot of these musicians, and I'm surprised by how many of them have a chess background. They enjoy chess. They enjoyed it when in their youth, and then somehow music took over their lives. It's very, very interesting how it goes. And we are waiting for some interviews with the two ladies. And again, I just want to say for Alice, this was a big relief, this draw.
I believe so, but she was creating her chances. This idea, Queen D2. Thank you,
Just
Yasser.
hanging around.
Yes, hanging
Who was
around.
your nemesis? Who didn't like to play against? You had a bad score with.
No, I told you, Yasser, it's a big pain, so
A big
I
pain.
tried to forget about it. Now that
Well,
I'm
you-
not an active player, I don't need to remember.
You came from the Ukraine with the Muzishuk
Sisters, Katerina Lagno was also Ukrainian.
Anna was strong enough.
Ushenina, Anna, yes.
We did catch up with Irina. Let's go to Kostya and Irina.
All right, Irina, what are your first impressions following your first game?
Well, Alice surprised me in the opening, and I decided to kind of play something solid. It actually had the potential to get kind of wild. It certainly did get a little bit unbalanced there. And it was kind of a strange position at the end. Like, I don't know, I felt like it was pretty sharp still, and could kind of go either way. And given that I was getting lower on time, I decided, like, okay, it's okay to take this to the rapid.
It's the final. We're ready going into the final. Any thoughts on repeating of the last 2 years' events?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Alice is a strong player, so I'm not surprised that she made her way back to the finals yesterday. And it's just always nice to play against her.
All right, thank you so much, Irina. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Indeed, Irina is looking really good. She's been in the finals twice before, won both. She's looking to three-peat.
The third one.
I want to say, Cristian, what makes Irina so dominant in this competition?
The practicality of her play.
Yeah?
She did surprise me
Yes.
with one thing.
Yes,
She said that she got surprised in the opening.
Goes in Bishop B4?
Maybe it was Bishop to B4. Yeah,
Right.
perhaps she was expecting C6 as we kind of
The
expected as
Slav.
well. Karlsbad structures,
Right.
E3 played slow like that, but at least keep some imbalance in the position. She did not expect Bishop to B4. Decided to go for the positional opening.
I'm not sure she knew the name.
She
though.
probably didn't, no.
I didn't.
She was like, okay, I'm just
Positional.
simply going to exchange some pieces,
Yes.
try to keep it simple. But she did understand that it was quite crazy towards the end, and she could have created those imbalances. I'm actually quite curious whether these players are going to go back, watch the engine, see that Irina was winning.
This is the
Right.
point, yes.
Or maybe they're just simply going to avoid that. I'm not looking at this. I have a very limited amount of time, less than 30 minutes.
No,
perhaps.
really, if Irina would have had white pieces, it would be, of course, good idea to
Yes.
go and check it. But now that she has black pieces, why to do so and, let's say,
Correct.
distract
Later.
yourself?
Even
it's
for
better
Alice.
not to
Right.
check, yes.
Even for Alice.
Yes, it's better
Just
not to know.
look, we have 30 minutes, let's prepare for whatever color we're playing.
Exactly.
I'll deal with what happened in the previous game after both of them are
Right.
finished.
Right. And we caught up with Alice as well. Her quick thoughts right after the game.
Alice, how do you feel about the results of your first round?
I think it went okay. I thought I was in a bit of a difficult position, but I think it's good that I was able to make a draw and then I get white for the next two games.
Are you excited about the next round? Any thoughts going into the next one?
Well, I'll be white in the next rapid game, but I'll try my best, I guess.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Alice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. And just before we go on break, let's remind everybody the results. Thus far, we have 3.
3 games are over today. 2 draws between Wesley and Levon Aronian. 1-1 is the score in the match. And 1 draw in the match between Irina, Krush and Wesley. They will play the rapid game very, very soon. Don't go anywhere.
Absolutely. We will see you all on the other side of this break as one rapid game to go. Rook D3.
The St. Louis Chess Club Scholastic Program brings the educational value of chess to kids and schools across the St. Louis area. Active in over 100 schools throughout the St. Louis City and County, the St. Louis Chess Club has been able to reach over 85,000 students in both in-school and after-school programs. We created the Select Chess Training Program and the Junior Select Chess Training Program in order to elevate the skill level in students across the St. Louis area. These students receive professional training from Grandmaster Varuja Nakobian. Other programs include Chess Cops, a partnership with the St. Louis Police Department, looking to improve relationships between at-risk kids and police officers in the St. Louis area, with over 600 students playing chess over the board since 2019. The St. Louis Chess Club has also created a chess merit badge for the Scouts BSA, quickly becoming one of the most popular badges, with more than 250,000 Scouts earning the badge since 2011. Students of chess can also pick up a copy of Read and Write Chess. Thanks to club co-founder Dr. Jeannie Cairns Sinkfield, anyone can learn how to understand chess notation in no time. We view chess as a valuable educational tool. Learn more about our scholastic programming by visiting stlouischessclub.org/education.
St. Louis, the chess capital of the United States, boasts the world-class St. Louis Chess Club and the World Chess Hall of Fame. It also plays host to an award-winning shop dedicated to chess merchandise, all-occasion gifts, and plenty more. At Q Boutique, you can shop both in-store and online for chess merchandise, autograph collectibles, chess campus souvenirs, and much, much more. From quirky greeting cards to luxury chess sets, there is something for everyone at Q Boutique. And all purchases go right to benefiting new exhibitions and programs at the World Chess Hall of Fame, dedicated to exploring chess and its immense impact on art and culture. Located on the first floor of the World Chess Hall of Fame, enjoy a shopping experience like no other and become everyone's favorite gift giver. If you can shop in store, make sure to check out QBoutiqueSTL.com for a wide variety of gifts for everyone to enjoy. The World Chess Hall of Fame, located in the heart of St. Louis's historic Central West End. Want to know why chess has intrigued people around the world for nearly 1,500 years? Stop by and learn about the impact of chess from our 3 floors showcasing the art, culture, and history of the game. Landmarked by the world's largest chess piece sitting outside our front door, the World Chess Hall of Fame has something for everyone to enjoy, including various exhibitions, monthly concerts, and much more. Whether you are a beginner or a professional, there is something for everyone to learn here at the World Chess Hall of Fame. Enjoy free admission to our rotating exhibitions in our galleries and sign up for chess events, family-friendly programming, and art classes. And don't forget to stop by our award-winning gift shop, Q Boutique, and shop a wide selection of chess-related merchandise. For more information on current exhibits, please visit worldchesshof.org.
The St. Louis Chess Club is the premier chess facility in the United States and is among the best in the world. Thanks to co-founders Dr. Jeannie Cairns-Sinkfield and Rex Sinkfield, the St. Louis Chess Club is a non-profit organization committed to promoting the game of chess locally and internationally. We bring the educational benefits of chess to thousands of students across the St. Louis area, promoting cognitive development, critical thinking, concentration, and analytical skills. The St. Louis Chess Club welcomes chess lovers of any age and skill level to come and enjoy the game of chess. We also promote chess at the highest levels, hosting all levels of the U.S. Championships and the American Cup, as well as high-profile tournaments that attract the world's best players, including the prestigious Sinkfield Cup, Cairns Cup, and many more. All tournaments can be streamed via our YouTube and Twitch channels that also include over 2,000 chess lectures for anyone to enjoy. Become a member and enjoy perks such as free classes and lectures, weekly tournaments, merchandise discounts, and so much more. Visit stlouischessclub.org to claim your membership today.
St. Louis, the chess capital of the United States. It also plays host to an award-winning shop dedicated to chess merchandise, all-occasion gifts, and plenty more. At Q Boutique, you can shop both in-store and online. From quirky greeting cards to luxury chess sets, there is something for everyone at Q Boutique. Enjoy a shopping experience like no other. Make sure to check out QBoutiqueSTL.com for a wide variety of gifts for everyone to enjoy.
The St. Louis Chess Club Scholastic Program brings the educational value of chess to kids in schools across the St. Louis area. Active in over 100 schools throughout the St. Louis City and County, the St. Louis Chess Club has been able to reach over 85,000 students in both in-school and after-school programs. We view chess as a valuable educational tool. Learn more about our scholastic programming by visiting stlouischessclub.org/education. The St. Louis Chess Club is the premier chess facility in the United States. We bring the educational benefits of chess to thousands of students across the St. Louis area. We also promote chess at the highest levels, hosting all levels of the U.S. Championships, as well as high-profile tournaments that attract the world's best players. Become a member and enjoy perks such as free classes and lectures, weekly tournaments, and so much more. Visit stlouischessclub.org to claim your membership today.
The World Chess Hall of Fame, located in the heart of St. Louis's historic Central West End. Want to know why chess has intrigued people around the world for nearly 1,500 years? Stop by and learn about the impact of chess from our 3 floors showcasing the art, culture, and history of the game. The World Chess Hall of Fame has something for everyone to enjoy. For more information on current exhibits, please visit worldchesshof.org.
The St. Louis Chess Club is the premier chess facility in the United States. We bring the educational benefits of chess to thousands of students across the St. Louis area. We also promote chess at the highest levels, hosting all levels of the U.S. Championships as well as high-profile tournaments that attract the world's best players. Become a member and enjoy perks such as free classes and lectures, weekly tournaments, and so much more. Visit stlouischessclub.org to claim your membership today.
The World Chess Hall of Fame, located in the heart of St. Louis's historic Central West End. Want to know why chess has intrigued people around the world for nearly 1,500 years? Stop by and learn about the impact of chess from our 3 floors showcasing the art, culture, and history of the game. The World Chess Hall of Fame has something for everyone to enjoy. For more information on current exhibits, please visit worldchesshof.org. St. Louis, the chess capital of the United States. It also plays host to an award-winning shop dedicated to chess merchandise, all-occasion gifts, and plenty more. At Q Boutique, you can shop both in-store and online. From quirky greeting cards to luxury chess sets, there is something for everyone at Q Boutique. Enjoy a shopping experience like no other. Make sure to check out QBoutiqueSTL.com for a wide variety of gifts for everyone to enjoy.
The St. Louis Chess Club Scholastic Program brings the educational value of chess to kids in schools across the St. Louis area. Active in over 100 schools throughout the St. Louis City and County, the St. Louis Chess Club has been able to reach over 85,000 students in both in-school and after-school programs. We view chess as a valuable educational tool. Learn more about our scholastic programming by visiting stlouischesskclub.org/education. The St. Louis Chess Club is the premier chess facility in the United States and is among the best in the world. Thanks to co-founders Dr. Jeannie Cairn Sinkfield and Rex Sinkfield, the St. Louis Chess Club is a non-profit organization committed to promoting the game of chess locally and internationally. We bring the educational benefits of chess to thousands of students across the St. Louis area, promoting cognitive development, critical thinking, concentration, and analytical skills. The St. Louis Chess Club welcomes chess lovers of any age and skill level to come and enjoy the game of chess. We also promote chess at the highest levels, hosting all levels of the U.S. Championships and the American Cup, as well as high-profile tournaments that attract the world's best players, including the prestigious Sinkfield Cup, Cairns Cup, and many more. All tournaments can be streamed via our YouTube and Twitch channels that also include over 2,000 chess lectures for anyone to enjoy. Become a member and enjoy perks such as free classes and lectures, weekly tournaments, merchandise discounts, and so much more. Visit stlouischessclub.org to claim your membership today.
Welcome back. It's the American Cup, day number 8 for the moment.
We do have some results for you. 3 games in the history books.
Yeah,
Anastasiya.
so in the first grand final between Wesley and Levon Aronian, we had 2 draws. The score is 1-1. Players will have 2 more games to play tomorrow. And Irina Krush made a draw against Ellerslie in the first classical game, and they are about to start their rapid game.
Exactly. This is a strange result to see so many draws. We've been seeing so many victories up into this moment. A peaceful day for a change. Let's put it that way. Coming into the rapid game, of course, in their matchups, Irina dominates, especially in rapid chess. She has won 3 out of the 4 games they've played in rapid chess in the past. 1 draw. Alice has only achieved 1 draw. Alice has been playing d4 exclusively in this competition. She has 13 wins with 1 d4, 6 draws, 3 losses. Guess who her losses are?
I can imagine.
All to Irina.
Only
so she
Irina.
performs incredibly well, does Alice, after 1 d4. And what is it about this Bogo Indian that allows Irina to achieve such great success against Alice?
It slows the game down. That's exactly what she wants. She wants to slow the game down. And with the Bogo Indian, bishop to b4.
check.
Now, we'll see whether we're going to see bishop to d2, just like in their classical matchup, where she did get a better position out of the opening, or will we see knight b to d2? I have a feeling we're going to see some changes in this one. I know the coaches have been working on the sidelines, I'm sure, for both of these players and trying to outfox each other, but we'll see what Alice is going to choose. Maybe we're going to even see a completely different way. Maybe e4 is going to come at move 1. No, as you just mentioned.
I don't think so.
100% d4.
Right. Dance with who brought you to the party, and it's definitely 1 d4 for Alice. Bishop b4 check, and you could put up the analysis board.
Lady in the arena right now
is Irina.
Irina, yes.
All right. A very dramatic difference between the 2 players.
Exactly. 8 wins for Irina. 1 time she lost against Ellerslie, and 6 draws. As we mentioned before, Irina is 40 years young. Alice is only 14. FIDE rating of Irina is 400 plus, but we know that she was 2,500 player. She's a grandmaster.
Before, yes.
And Ellerslie, she's international master with 2,358 rating points at the moment. 8-time national champion.
Yeah, that experience speaks for itself. But that, on the ELO rating system, a 24-21 versus a 23-56, that's not the greatest.
No, not such a big difference.
It shouldn't have made, based on the ratings alone, there shouldn't be that massive score in Irina's favor. It should be something closer to 5-3, let's say. But it seems that psychologically, at least, Irina has, up to this moment, dominated their encounters. Alice Lee.
What a great experience for a young player.
Oh,
to have
it's
this
off the chart.
opportunity
It's
to
ridiculous.
play against one of the greatest players in history of American chess, Irina
Exactly.
Krush. This is how you become a strong player. I mean,
exactly.
She will not give it for free.
Exactly.
any half a point. So you have to fight.
No, the anvil of competition forges champions, and this is the
Are we going to see
Bogo
knight
Indian.
bd2?
No, bishop to d2.
Bishop to d2.
And Irina has been playing queen e7, and then once again, as you said, she slows the game down. G3.
She does slow the game down. Yes.
Okay, so we do have a g3 on the board. Bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, knight c6, all very standard. And at last, a new approach by Alice, a2, a3, just making knight e4 and taking away the b4 squares, making knight e4 and queen b4 impossible. I don't know why this move is that attractive to Alice, because in principle, as black, Irina switches. Usually she closes down this diagonal and plays d6 and e5 herself. So a2, a3. Coach?
And I'm trying to remember what was her choice before. I think it was something related to bishop g2 followed by queen c2. Right?
I think she
played
queen
c2
c2
immediately.
right away.
Remember?
Immediately, right?
Yes,
and we were really confused.
Yes, we
didn't
couldn't understand.
understand that one. But a2, a3 is that strikes me as a strange move. Is that theory and everything?
I do not see any games, but I'm sure it's just simply not updating as of right now. I'm
Okay.
sure a3 has been played b4. It takes away the b4 square. Now, queen to c2, you don't have queen to b4 or knight to b4. Also, whenever I will go d5, if you allow me to, like we've seen in the previous game, for example, Irina tried to play with d6 followed by e5, and then we've seen the d5 idea to poke that knight on c6. And Irina, in fact, played the move knight to b4 in that particular game. But right now, this is exactly what she's trying to avoid. White, that is, Alice, with the move a3.
d5 is on the
by
board.
the way, is on the board. Yes.
I've been told that...
and a3 has been played.
A3, 140-odd games with a3, which I find surprising. d7, d5. Okay, queen to c3. I must say.
This queen's moves.
Yeah,
queen c2, queen c3.
I'm really confused by the queen being on c3 square.
New approach.
Bail me out, Cristian. What's queen c3?
Well, again,
If
it's
knight
the
to
question,
4?
where do you put the queen, right? At some point, you will have to put it on the c-file so that you can move the knight. I do think that she wants to get this knight to d2, keep the position, keep the c-file especially open for my potential rook coming to c1, and that's going to make life very difficult for the knight on c6. This is a big problem in black's position. If the knight would be on d7 and this pawn on c6, black's position would be perfectly fine. The problem is you have the knight on c6. Not only that, but with the queen on c3, e5 is not as easy to be played on the board. Yes, yes. And of course, I'm waiting for you. Hey, you want to attack my queen? I will drop back. And then you will not have the potential of breaking up the structure on this side with d takes c4, because the knight is going to be hanging. So I do like this move, queen to c3. By the way, I'm 100% sure that this is still her preparation.
That she expected after a3,
Yes.
d5
Alice
was
is-
one of her expected
100%. This
moves.
is still, she's still within her preparation.
So castles, bishop g2, and help me out on the clock times on this one,
Yes, so-
Anastasiya?
At the moment, yes, they have like Irina spent a couple of minutes
They're-
on her moves, and
Team?
Alice has a little bit more time. And
Well, Alice has 16. She
Yes.
started with 15.
yes, she
so-
got a little bit more.
So she's been snapping out her moves, and I'm with you on this one, Cristian. 100% seems very
She's on her
accurate. And
She plays
knight
knight
to
e4.
Okay, knight e4, I'm expecting queen
Now
c2.
Queen c2.
knight e4, attacking the queen. Now queen c2. And as you were saying, with the knight on e4, it's very awkward, if not impossible, in fact, to get in the move.
Why? Can we
E5.
still try it? No, d4. I thought about knight d4, but queen e4, yes. That's
And
a
again,
problem.
first of all, you also don't have knight to b4, right?
Yes. So that's why we have a3 on the board.
Okay, so knight e4, queen c2. It strikes me as if you play f5 here.
Yeah, I'm thinking, is it good?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's like a Dutch stone wall
Yes.
where white has achieved the strategic desirable goal of trading dark squared bishops. So it wouldn't strike me that knight e4, queen c2, f5 is particularly a good plan for Irina. Knight e4, maybe she's thinking about knight to d6.
Attacking c4 pawn.
Idea that in case of c5, she'll play knight to f5.
Provoking e3 and then e5.
A little dance with the knights.
Yes, and maybe e5.
The black knight tango.
Yes.
Let's see. Maybe not queen to c2, but queen to d3. Can that be helpful in any way?
Is there a square the white queen
Hasn't
visited
in
on
this
the board?
line?
Queen to d3.
Maybe.
And speak in favor of that move for a moment, Cristian. Why do you like it?
I'm not really sure.
Actually, I see why. Yes, the d4
You
pawn.
do.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Because d4 pawn will not be hanging in the line knight d6, c5, knight f5. It will be
Oh,
protected.
very good.
And then we
Very
have
good.
like g4 maybe. No,
Very
Right.
good point.
maybe not.
In case the knight is chased back, then the
Yes.
queen on d3, as you properly stated, the pawn on d4 is nicely defended.
Defended. You have time to play. I'm not sure about g4. No, I'm probably just. Oh, you think immediately h4 and g4?
No, g4 knight h4 is
don't
probably
like.
what I was going to suggest.
So go back to the queen c2 line.
Queen to c2. I'm not a fan of f5, and the only
96.
thing I could really imagine her doing is something like knight d6.
Right, knight d6.
She
Let's keep
played
it.
queen c1.
So
What? Guys,
we
you're
cannot
really,
predict anything. We're doing really bad job
You
here.
guys have failed me.
Oh my goodness.
Time and time again. It really has to stop. You guys need to improve your game.
Exactly. I mean, we cannot guess any move here.
I can't.
Yes.
I
Maybe not
can't
such
be
a bad move.
associated with you.
We have to work on our queen.
Yes, please.
Yes, like where to move it. Yes. No, queen,
Queen
c1.
c1.
Couldn't
Nobody
even. No.
saw that one coming. Okay. Can we speak in favor of queen c1? I can,
Sure.
I think.
Yes.
In case of knight d6, pawn, knight, could Alice be thinking the queen can defend and post up on f4, maybe
Certainly,
eyeballing,
yes.
maybe making it a little bit difficult for you to play bishop to
E5
d7
also.
as well as
Certainly.
e5?
Yes, the question is whether after
Queen
queen f4,
c1.
maybe I have ideas of f6. It is a big question. What are you going to do with that queen, right?
Well, I would play knight c3 and I kind of eyeball.
No more f6, no more e5. It seems like, right?
Yes,
maybe I
because
can. Maybe I can still go e5. Let's go e5. Let's try it out.
Sure. Why not? Let's give it a shot. Well, I better take it, I
Take.
guess.
Take with the pawn. I have to take with the pawn.
D2,
Something like-
G5.
Although I must say, what am I doing? I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing.
By the
is
way,
any
By the
good.
way, we
Need
have
to-
moves. Knight A5 is played.
Queen c1.
Yes.
Okay, queen c1. The knight is still on e4.
Exactly.
Excuse me. And Irina is saying,
What
I
about
would
the fork?
like to play c5, but my knight's in the way. So let me get my knight out of the way, threatening a fork. Knight a5, knight d2.
I like this move, knight d2. If you,
Yeah,
if you take on d2, you take with the knight and protect b3. And
Okay,
c4.
but is that the end of the story?
Maybe not. We have to check this one. c5. I don't know what's going on.
If you take
No.
on c4 with the pawn, I go queen c3.
Important.
Yes.
And that bishop patrolling the desirable b6 has
It looks like a
back-
good catalog.
It does, doesn't it?
A really good catalog. Yes.
So knight d2. I'm not going to be so helpful. Can I play c5?
I think
Oh.
that's probably the
Really?
most concrete way of trying to address this position. Yes.
Right. Just give
So
it a
let's
shot.
just go castle, right? Like make a. very
Well,
good
castle's knight takes c4. Maybe I solve some of my opening problems. I'm not sure.
Wait, what?
Castles, you
Yes.
say.
Yes.
Knight takes c4.
Knight takes c4.
D takes.
Yeah. I don't think you were out of danger right now. I
You
know.
don't
Bishop
think-
on c8 is still quite a big weakness. I feel.
Okay.
Really, b6?
You're not afraid of knight e5.
Nothing, yes.
I'm not afraid of knight e5.
Wait, sorry, but can I? Knight e5. Now I take on e4 and take on c5.
Wow,
first
you
on the
give
four.
up. Okay, that's true.
You do have bishop d5, so it's not over by any means.
Well, I mean, I was a little bit surprised that you kind of gave up your bishop here.
Yeah,
Just
he would
for
just-
split pawns? I think he'll take it back. At this exact moment, it does feel like, okay, knight a5, knight d2, c5. I mean, I was expecting you to go a little bit crazy.
Yes, I thought about b4, but the problem is
B4.
f2 is hanging in some lines.
F2
yes,
is hanging.
like dc5, yes, for example. I even have maybe queen c5.
And what about this guy? Is this guy? This is the line where you were saying.
Yes, and if you take on e4, I take d takes c4.
And now?
And now I just, yeah, I mean, I just move the queen.
Where?
Good question. Yes, the queen c7.
Well, you could take a pawn.
Yeah, I
And
could
my,
take.
My intention was to go knight
Yes,
to
but
d2.
that's a problem, yes. So
And-
queen c7, yes, I don't want
Okay.
your pawn.
You-
It's a poisoned
oh.
pawn.
But it really is.
Yes, and you defend everything, yes,
I
by
do.
this. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Poison pawn.
So maybe this
No,
move
but
knight
okay,
d2.
after you take on c5, maybe I can just take with the knight, right?
Okay.
Because
now we're
the
talking.
threat is knight b3, yes?
Well, let's have a look-see. You go ahead and play your knight to b3.
I'm not sure which knight.
That's the problem.
So just play one.
Okay,
You
if
choose.
you go this one, let's say, and
Sure.
I go...
It's,
Where do I go?
it's
This
probably
one?
the correct man. But now I take your rook, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
then I
but
take...
how the knight
oh,
goes
and then
back?
queen takes
Queen takes
A3.
Nice. This is nice played.
Oh. All those tricky knights. By the way, Irina...
She spent already 7 minutes on her clock from 15.
She
and-
spent half her time on one
Exactly.
move?
No.
No,
It
in,
hasn't been
in
one.
total, yes.
Up to
And
this point.
Alice
Oh, sorry.
has almost
it-
14 minutes.
Okay. Wow. Okay, but it was this move, knight d2, a move that you mentioned as something that's very, very nice. Knight takes d2, knight takes d2. And after 7 minutes thinking, knight takes d2, knight takes d2 is on the board.
Maybe she just wants, yes, she took on
Yeah,
c4.
she's going for the simplification.
Simplifications, take.
This reminds me of the Lasker variation of the Queen's Gambit Declined, where you trade and your break to liberate your bishop is to play e5.
This is what she played, I think. No?
She hasn't
it's not
played
on
it
the
yet.
board.
She can start with c6 instead
Yes.
of e5 because she wants to play rook to e8 and e5. I just played e5 immediately with the idea that if you do let me take and you do let me play c6, I'll have it equalized.
I would probably have to go d5 to try for it.
Exactly, and to try to press.
If I don't go
against-
d5, it's just very
No,
difficult.
exactly.
chance.
So she plays c6 first to prevent
d5.
d5, yes.
So c6. Now the question is, I think if I'm in Alice's shoes, I don't like playing against the move e5. I would like to prevent it. Now this is the radical way.
f4.
You just say, you can't do it.
Oh.
I refuse to allow you to do it. I will play f4 and
I like
castles.
You like it?
Yes.
A less radical
I do.
way is to go queen c3. If you play rook e8, I don't know why the X just showed up, threatening e5, I'll play rook d1 in order to, again, X-ray and prevent you from playing e5. There'll be a rook d8 check. So 2 approaches for Alice, queen c3 or f4. You didn't like f4.
I'm not sure about this move. Like
It offended
feels-
your sensibilities.
No, I
I
mean
saw
it's
you
in my
recoil.
style, on my style, but still. I mean, to play f4 is maybe with the king still in the center. But I mean, but Cristian liked it, so we can still have a
I
look.
love it.
You
Why
did?
not? Yes, why not?
Let's play.
Wow. Okay. Because at the end of the day, if you don't get in e5, if you
Maybe
don't
you're
get in
worse.
c5, the bishop on c8 will be a passive piece versus its colleague, the bishop on g2, which is very active. On a good day, I get to play b4, b5.
Yeah, that's what I want to
And
say.
I'm-
Probably before against c5 as well. Like you
Yeah.
have no any chances to.
And I'm enjoying the sunny side. Irina, well, she's not
Concerned.
Can we
betraying
go with
anything.
f4, maybe?
She's not betraying anything. Alice, in our face cam, there we see where. Can you spot where Alice's eyes are
Not
going?
really at the
No?
moment. It's unclear. Ah,
Towards f4, I think.
I
She's going
think
for it.
straight down the center of the board. She's looking at Black's king.
Well, she knows that she needs to avoid e5.
Yes.
Don't allow e5.
does
to
it
happen
mean
in a
that
good
Irina had
manner.
to play e5 on the previous move?
We're not sure. E5,
Not sure, yes.
D5, as Cristian said.
Still
And
could create some troubles, but at least bishop would be out. c7 would be a little bit weak, yes.
yeah. By the way, the white queen has done quite a bit of a dancing. It went to d2. It did go to c3.
Queen c3.
Queen
okay.
c3.
It did
the
go
move
to
you-
c1, back to c4, and finally, it can't be dislodged from c3. So queen c3, no radical
No f4, yes.
solutions.
Not yet.
Does this appeal to you?
Yes. No, queen c3 somehow I prefer it more.
Calm.
Even though, you know, Yasser, I'm ready to move my pawns anytime. Here it
Yes.
felt like a little bit strange.
Yes.
But more I
Okay.
looked at it, it was also possible, I guess.
Right.
Queen c3 was on the
Coach, one of the things that the engines tell us is like you can do almost anything in today's opening circus. For me, I like white, and I think it's a comfortable half pawn advantage for white. How does the engine think?
Perfect, actually. Yes, it is a half pawn advantage for white after queen to c3.
I know my weaker engines.
Very nicely put. And by the way, f4 was just fine. Queen to c3
Awesome.
is just fine as well. And especially with the idea that you mentioned, you can go f4 still. You can go f4. But to be honest, I liked f4 a bit better with the queen on c4 because of this pin, right? So you don't have f6, e5 in one go. Rook to d1, another
Just
way to
as
avoid
expected.
e5. I really like this move. Right now, it is Irina who is under some pressure.
To
Slight for the moment,
her position.
but it could increase very rapidly.
Right. Rook d1, again, just preventing e5. e5, d takes e5, you can't recapture. I'm just doing all of these captures for the obvious reason that Bobby Fischer teaches chess will tell you there's a back rank mate coming up. So that is why Alice played rook d1 to prevent the move
E5.
E5. Sometimes radical solutions are required.
So who was talking about positional play here? I think Alice is playing positional, pretty positional.
Yes, she is.
She's preventing ideas of black.
Exactly.
And playing according to the position.
Right. She's taken a page from Irina's book that has been very effective.
She exchanged pieces. She goes to quite simple position, with some threats. Yes.
Oh, so rook d1 did.
I love it.
Okay, Irina has to accept the fact that she's simply worse. The move bishop d7 is an indication that she's ready to play rook to d8 and just maybe
c8.
drop her bishop back and saying to her opponent, okay, you go ahead and try to do your best.
I actually think she wants to go for c5 now. So maybe like rook c8,
C8, but then b4.
b6, and c5.
Okay, so after the
Castling.
natural castles.
Maybe something like rook c8.
Okay, b4.
b4.
b6.
b6.
Just trying to get c5.
Yes, yes.
If I don't get c5, then I'm in trouble.
Yes, precisely. You know, it's funny, you mentioned that the queen would have been better left on c4. I like the queen on c4. The difference is that when you do get in c5, I do have a way of
closing
getting
shop,
and getting an edge. I like queen c4, and I did
Now
like
you
it
go
before.
back?
Yeah,
yeah.
that's probably a good way to continue.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I really think that Irina is going to more or less simply play a position where she puts her bishop back, which kind of begs the question back here. After the move queen c3, I saw our great predecessors playing this style of play where they would put the bishop back on e8. Then they would put their rook on c8, like let's just put some moves on the board, rook c1, rook c8, doesn't matter. We get some position like this. And very, very slowly,
F6.
as black, they would play f6 and claim things are pretty even, Steven.
But it's not a fun position
It's not a fun position.
Black.
Right.
And also with 6.5 minutes against 9.5.
Bishop d7, by the way, castles h6.
h6 immediately responded. Irina understands that she needs to speed things up.
And speaking of speeding things up, 9 minutes for
6
Alice?
minutes and 20 seconds for Irina.
h7, h6. Okay.
I don't like this. No, okay. She still didn't choose this plan with bishop b8 and f6, yes?
Right.
So in any case.
I must say, I made a pretty good living off of the minority attack myself. I think b2, b4 would get my vote in this specific position. I'm always reluctant to play the move e4.
Because of e5, right?
Well, not necessarily. I'm reluctant to play the move e4 because it blocks my bishop in the first place. And then if I play e4, e5, I've played two tempi and maybe I've made a backward pawn.
It is tempting, especially when you have a knight to get that pawn on e5, because then you can transfer it to d6. But I understand that without the knight, you're a bit more reluctant to do that.
Exactly. So
h4. Let's go, she says.
But where?
Wow.
Where do we go?
Not sure.
Wow.
Not sure.
Okay. Somewhere in Alice's training program, this move h4, just making an additional luft. Maybe you put your pawn on h5, your bishop on e4, so you have a back rank mate.
By the way, Irina is going for what your plan was from
The
the
old
beginning.
predecessor plan.
Rook d8, bishop
d8,
e8.
bishop
Right.
She's studied her classics, it seems like.
Truly.
Just
Again,
I'm not sure about h6, and if you want to go f6, why did you need to?
weaken because I would been a little bit because as white I would like to play the minority attack. If I see the move h4, I would have probably played a5 myself, with the idea that I could put my pawn on a4 and maybe on a good day a rook lift. I know it looks a little bit silly to put a rook on b3, but hey, it's there. h4, rook to d8. What did Alice play? h5.
Exactly.
Well, now we understand why Irina put her bishop on e8.
Also to keep an eye on
Gift
h5.
me the pawn.
The same time, bishop doesn't go to g6, yes, because white controls the square.
Right.
Would you support Yasser, your pawn on h5 was g4 move?
This is what David Bronstein wrote about in his theory and practice book on the candidates tournament. That when you play the move h5, it's like a needle pulling a thread. And that once you put your pawn on h5, it's like an invisible force that pulls the pawn to g4. No, I don't like putting my pawns on g4 and h5 when I have a light squared bishop. I would probably just put my bishop on f3, my king on g2.
Bishop f3 is on the board, rook to d6.
Okay, Irina's taking she's leaving the queen side all alone. She's not playing a5. She's not worried about any
attacks on the queen's side.
And she's just saying, I'll put my pieces on powerful, good central squares, and it's not going to be easy for you to improve your position. Is she right?
Maybe, like rook d8 and queen f6 is the threat now. You don't have e3 in this case, so white should kind of find a solution against this move, either king g2 first or...
Okay, I like your king g2.
Or rook d8.
And I like rook to d3, just prepping the defense of the pawn with rook d1. I like the fact that my pawn currently is on e2. I like, in Karpov style, making sure all of the pieces are defended,
What if I try to win the pawn, at least chase it with queen g5 and f6 ideas or f5 ideas?
Queen
g5.
Queen g. You could queen g5.
Now, yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is that if I play rook d1, f6
I will
or
try
f5.
f6.
F6.
We'll
Okay.
see. Yes. I have this option maybe.
It looks a little bit weakening, but maybe.
Like if you play rook h1 back.
I was thinking that I would accept a trade of pawns. Bishop takes h5, queen takes b7.
Then I take on e2.
On f3.
On f3. You will not take on h5, so I take on f3, yes. Okay, let's think about it, yes. Another idea could be maybe to play a 5 f4.
Okay, then you would maybe want to start with
Start
f5.
with a5.
Right?
No, it's not like I really like it. I don't like to make my e5 square very weak.
So weak.
But maybe...
His pawn on h5 is a bit weird, right?
Yes.
I don't think she should have put that pawn on h5.
Right.
Like you have to defend it with rook h1, maybe?
It's just a liability forever.
Right. An excellent move, I agree, would be h5, h4. An excellent. By the way, king g2, rook d8. The ladies have followed our suggestions up to this moment.
By the way, Irina, she's now ahead on time.
What?
Really? Yes, it's
That went by
almost
fast.
6 minutes for her and a little bit less for Leslie.
She is now ahead on the clock.
By the way, no queen g5,
At
no
6
adventures
immediately.
for Irina. She doesn't believe in these
tricky moves.
Yeah. Well, queen sallies. we would say.
What's the idea?
F7, F6, simple chess. I want to put my bishop on F7. If I wanted to attack this pawn, I think she would prefer...
Queen E8?
Yes.
Maybe even E5 at the right
And
moment.
maybe even, especially
Or
with the
would they-
rooks doubled, like we can easily imagine the desirable E3. Don't ask
example,
me why
yes.
the move E3 is desirable. But now that the rook is hanging, the move E5 with ideas of E4. So Alice has to be cognizant of those types of things. So if she plays rook to D1, an attractive
Yes.
move, bishop to F7, and if you play E3, this is where Queen E8
Yes.
could.
Also, you can play rook d7 sometimes and queen d8.
Yes.
We saw all these tricks. Remember, in one
Yes.
of the games, she managed to put pieces on d file. And
So that she could play for E5 and so forth and so on. Again, a very solid approach, even though it's a little bit passive for black. I don't see any real reasons why this isn't kind of a comfortable position, I want to say. Oops, sorry, I have to refresh my board.
It feels like White's position lost a bit of its sting in the last few moves.
Oops, no queen G5. That
Perhaps
was my
she was just
analysis
simply
board.
too slow.
F6. Why is it not updating? Sorry, I just have to update my board. There it is. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I don't want E3. She played rook to D1. Yes. Rook to D1, bishop to F7, queen A5. Okay.
I like this move. Create some weaknesses. You need to create some weaknesses. You need to provoke black to create those weaknesses. How do you do that? Attack.
So I'll fall for it. A6.
At least now all the pawns on that side are on the light squares. So if ever that pawn on C6 is taken care of, and my bishop finally has a nice diagonal to operate on, then I will be very happy with that pawn structure.
Fair. I'm going to follow, I'm taking a page out of Anastasia's book here after the move A7, A6. My intention, you can go ahead and do anything that doesn't blunder something. I want to play rook D8 to D7 and queen D8. Trade queens and just put pressure on the pawn on D4.
Okay, nice. I see that. Maybe queen C5?
Queen C5, rook D7, nothing.
You need to do something fast.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're kind of annoying with that queen D8 move.
Exactly. Truly, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Cristian. That
Okay, maybe not that annoying.
Queen
I will
D8,
go
queen
B4.
E8,
Let's keep going. Let's push.
With the queen on A5?
Yeah, queen. No, queen C5 is fine.
Okay, you can have it.
Okay, A4, queen D8, queen C5.
Yeah.
A4.
A4.
Yes.
Whoa.
Am I missing something?
I'm just trying to calculate E5. That's like my how do you say, breakout. That's the prism.
maybe it's not working.
By
that
the way,
well.
the queen, she provoked B6. Apologies.
I think yes, b6 is possible also.
She provoked B6.
Where do you go now?
Oops.
Will you keep this queen?
B6, queen C3 on the board? Is that right?
Yes.
B6, queen C3 on the board. So good for
C5.
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 Simple chess.
Absolutely.
This E5/C5 were the two moves that Irina needed to liberate her position a little
Maybe
bit.
she'll play e5 later.
What can Alice do? Captures, takes, and all of these trades. And White at the end of the game has an empty net. There's nothing in the position for White.
She takes on c5, rook takes d3 most probably.
Yep.
Very
It does seem
quickly.
like Irina might be not only back in this one, but
comfortably so.
Comfortably so, exactly.
Yeah,
That pawn on h5 is the weakness right now.
For sure. I think the move check, though, is the proper way to go because I do think that that's going to... Oops.
Queen
takes c5, we expect.
Irina just settling in here. It gives me an indication that she is considering b6 takes c5 because maybe she is concerned about queen d8 check.
Does she have to be concerned about it?
Well, maybe she does. If check, how would
king h7, let's say?
Okay, then there's a little something here, isn't there?
Yeah. Even though bishop takes h5.
Yes, I'm
well, that
thinking about
keeps
it.
the material balance, but I think that these pawns are more dangerous
Then if.
than these guys.
But we could, yeah. I thought about g5.
I'm not too
h5.
worried about it, but yes,
It's if anybody's playing,
is white.
Right. And if at this moment you did play the queen back, then queen c7
I really
has
like this, yeah.
some questions. So I think Irina is actually intending to recapture with the pawn with b6 takes c5.
Yes.
Now, if there was lots of pieces on the board, yes, we could talk about the split pawns and maybe some nice advantages for white. But here it's only theoretical because the pawns are only weak if they can be attacked.
Exactly, yes. And Yasser, don't you feel that Irina was a little bit fast with this c5 breakthrough?
I do. I think she was very fast with b6. I mean, I think in her mind's eye when she played b6, she was intending queen c5. Now she recognizes that, well, there are
some
issues.
Ideas for white, yes. So it's
Right.
maybe better to take on c5 with the pawn. But I like that she made this full stop. Like
Right.
Sometimes we calculate the line from far and we just want to go for it. And she
right.
she felt the danger and she decided just to think of another possibility, b takes c5.
Exactly. Clock times?
Clock times, we are getting
3
closer.
minutes
It's like
each, right?
2:40
2 minutes 40.
3:20.
The time advantage
Yes,
flip-flops.
it's moving, yes. So
right? From one player is ahead on the clock.
She
and
takes with
she
the pawn.
played b5.
Great
She
guess,
felt-
Yasser.
Yeah, a
You
little
felt it also.
discretion was important here. Now, Cristian,
Well, there
break
is
it down
one
for
way
us.
to try to get something like queen a6, maybe bishop b7, followed by bishop b7.
a6, bishop b7.
And just try to
and
go for
just
that a7. That's
give
just
me the
one
pawn.
way to create imbalance in the position.
Well, it's an attempt to win a pawn. Never mind an imbalance. Attempt to win a pawn.
No, but
Well,
we'll take on h5.
I'm giving you the pawn on h5.
Yes.
So it's not really winning the pawn.
I thought that Irina's intention was to play queen c7 to kind of meet bishop b7 with queen b6. I was thinking queen c7, king f8, king e7. Centralize the king, cover some business squares on the open file. You wanted queen e8 to go after this guy?
Who?
You.
No. I never said anything. I did not say
You
that.
were saying take the h5 pawn.
In case
for
of
the-
queen a6 and bishop b7, he was
It's
ready
saying
to
you
trade
could-
it to
I see.
for the pawn on h5. Yes.
Well, he's going to wait
Once
for
you
bishop
move
b7.
your bishop.
I like
Yeah.
my queen on e7.
Okay.
Ah, really?
If I'm black, I really like my queen on e7. Maybe on c7, just because I'm defending both pawns.
I feel like I'm giving a 2-minute warning here. 2 minutes for Alice.
E3.
3.
Good move. Yes.
Why?
Just because bishop takes h5 sometimes attacks the pawn on e2.
Fair. I needed an explanation. Got one. Maybe it wasn't the explanation I wanted, but there you go. I kind of like the pawn on e2. Seriously, not a joke. Sometimes in king and pawn endgames, you need the extra tempo. The bishop was nicely defended. If ever you played bishop takes f3 check, I would like to capture.
I saw it.
Queen c7, you saw what?
I saw the draw.
Uh-oh.
Check it out.
I'm ready.
Queen a6.
Queen a6. Let's go.
Queen b6.
Yes.
Queen c8.
Check.
King h7. Bishop
yeah.
e4.
Check.
f5. Bishop takes f5.
Ah.
Take, and now we have to repeat.
Are you sure? But I have king h8 and bishop g8.
No, I take your bishop.
Ah, yes, you just take my bishop and I have nothing now.
But I like your
so
idea.
attracted with
I
the
will
idea queen
avoid
c8.
a draw.
Yes, I wanted to avoid, but it's not easy.
Yes, this is...
I found the draw.
That's why they call him Eagle Eye Draw.
That's not what, no. Eagle Eye Draw.
I'm not
Eagle
sure,
Eye Draw.
but
I don't
how
think
would you
anybody
estimate this
has
ending, Yasser?
Queen C4, no Queen A6, no Queen A6, Queen C4, and wow, I love that. When you think about posting up with the queen in the center of the board, this is one of the most ideal moments in chess to get the queen in the center of the board. You defend the pawn, you hit the pawn, you hit the pawn.
It's time. It's time to pull the brakes. Go B4. Exchange some pawns. Let's make a draw.
Because, by the way, Alice Lee down to her last minute
How did
here.
it happen? Like I didn't see it was coming because it was Irina who was behind for a moment.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly. 47 seconds for Alice Lee. I mean, both ladies have been ahead minutes on the clock. It's kind of a little...
B3?
B3.
Okay, it's an invitation to take on h5 because she will take on e6, right?
Yes. Yes. B3, but pause, because you always, in your mind's eye, you should be seeing that if I could play the move E6.
King h8, I was thinking about this
King
move, just to
H8.
remove the king and bishop h5 in case if you want to play this move later.
Queen takes c6 doesn't come with a check.
Yes.
That is true. King H8, wow. I'm still...
I mean,
Queen
you
A6.
would-
Queen A6.
Okay.
Threading a7.
Big moment now. Do you go Queen C7?
Shall we?
Or do you take on H5?
I would probably play Queen C7.
No, but actually it's possible.
Queen C7.
I was thinking
I
about
mean,
some
the
Queen
A
D5
pawn,
ideas.
I mean, that is a scary passer.
Yeah, don't give that up.
Queen
Do not
A7.
give that pawn up.
No, but it was possible to take on b3 maybe in this line. But I mean, we can show this line with
Which
bishop h5, but okay.
Okay, the queen just came
Instead of
back.
Queen C7.
Is this an invitation
For repetition?
for repetition? By the way, there is a threat of B6, B6, B4,
B4.
B3, B4. There's a big threat.
Queen e5, if queen e6,
Queen A5.
I mean e5.
Getting out of the threat, Queen E5 is a repetition. 150. A minute 50 to 30 seconds.
Yasser, can we check this line? Queen
Which one?
e5, e5,
Yes.
queen a6, a6, and then I take on h5 still, just to have a look.
Just to have a look. Fair. And if I
I take on h5.
I wanted to capture this pawn on
You take on
E6.
e7, I take on d5, queen d5 check.
That, okay, go for it. Go for it,
Yes.
Anastasiya.
And
King.
then, just to show it, yes, let's say king h2, I take on b3, you take on c5. And yeah, I mean, that's a problem, a3 pawn. Even we have a balance in
more
the position.
scary. Let me just refresh my board for a moment. Oh, that didn't refresh. Why can't I refresh my board? Okay, just a second. I want to refresh my board. Excuse me, everybody. I'm refreshing my board. No?
Yes.
No?
No. It's not there.
No? Don't see what I'm doing wrong here. Go ahead. Help me, Cristian.
We'll manage it, Yasser.
We'll manage it together.
No reason to panic.
Ah, there you go. You got that part right. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you, Cristian.
So, what we have a couple of moves. Queen is on e7.
Yeah, let's just refresh what
It
happened.
looks
Look
so
at this.
simplified.
Again,
know.
I
time,
don't see.
same time they have, 40 seconds.
30 something for Alice, 40 right now for Irina. Very close.
I would be playing e5 personally, just to
E5, Queen C5 maybe.
just to put all my pawns on dark squares.
And then I go Queen C5. What do you do?
She's done it. E5, check. Queen
Check
E8.
first.
Wow, those moves were played very quickly. I'm a little bit.
They have to play quickly, 40
Queen
seconds.
B7. Just a second. Help me out. Queen B7.
Queen B7. Yeah, that's a good question. What do you do after Queen B7?
what
Queen
was-
B7 probably she wants to take on H5, but really allowing that pawn on B4 to survive. It's
No, she can
you're
play-
playing with fire.
a little bit, but she has no choice.
Yes, because
After queen b7, there's no way to defend the pawn and protect the bishop on f7 as well.
Irina might be
in trouble.
Getting herself in trouble.
Well, the bishop ending offers nothing.
By the way, queen b7, can I go e4?
Bishop
e4
takes
first.
e4?
e4 first.
Bishop takes e4?
Bishop takes h5.
And trade the pawns that way?
Well, at
Bishop.
least you're not taking a7 for the moment. But then
I'm
you have
not
bishop
sure.
d5.
No, the computer says white is much better. And we can
Right?
see with this pawn, if
I
white
think
keeps this.
Alice has a serious shot at winning this
I
one.
think Irina overlooked the strength
Queen
of
e8
queen
was
c8 check.
not a good
Yeah,
20
queen
seconds.
e8 was a mistake. Yes. So she
20
has
seconds.
to take on h5, but hoping to make a
h5.
draw with some perpetual check. But this
Exactly.
is really hard.
So we have to take.
By the way,
No,
bishop
she
c6, you
didn't
don't
take.
have to take, in fact.
I'm surprised.
Can I play queen f8 now?
What was bishop c6? Queen f8 is
Queen
an
f8,
excellent move.
yes, trying
An
to keep an eye.
14 seconds. Irina has
She
to
has
move.
to play this move and keep an eye on b4 pawn.
Oh no, queen c5. Did
B5.
Alice?
No, queen c5, I go queen c8, and then bishop
E4 check.
E4
picks
check
up,
and
oh,
picks up the queen.
It's a
Yes.
beautiful discovery. You're right. So queen a3. Queen
Is the only
a3.
move?
seems like the only move.
4
For a
seconds.
second, oh no, she played f5.
She missed queen a3.
She's going for e4 and bishop to f3. She's trying to...
Oh,
No, but this is not
where
enough. Queen
nerves.
a8, guys.
Oh my gosh.
What?
After e4, queen a8 wins the game.
E4, queen
yes, an
a8.
exchange of queens.
So I've got to move the queen. Irina losing. Queen b4, queen b8 check. Picks up the pawn on e5.
This is close
She's
to over.
blundered the pawn.
Yes,
She
and
sees
it's-
everything Alice that is right now.
And also f5
Alice
is
is
hanging.
in the zone.
Queen
17
d4 and
seconds.
march that pawn down the board.
Agreed. It's over. That is a winning ending. 9 seconds for Irina.
Yes,
She
and
is-
also the
she
time
has
bishop
missed-
b2 probably. No,
It
bishop
feels like
d4.
she just missed all the key moments.
Queen d4, and that's it.
Queen d4.
With the idea b6 and
b6, b7.
Not
Chaperone
to
that
flog
kick-
a horse,
that pawn
but
down the
queen
board.
c7 also looks very, very strong. Escort the pawn home. There's no counterplay against
bishop d7.
bishop d7.
Okay, but now queen to b1.
Keeps the
She's
game
trying
alive
to
a little bit.
play bishop b2, maybe some
Guys,
points
bishop
with queen
h3
f1.
might be a big threat
Or
right
bishop
now.
h-
Bishop
Careful,
h3.
careful, alert. Is e4 possible? E4.
20 seconds
Really?
for Alice.
Wow.
Alice has e4 as a winning move.
Irina is creating her chances. Wow. I mean, looked losing, and suddenly some idea.
E4!
With
She
how much
found
time
it.
on her clock? How
With
much?
5
9
seconds. She had 5 seconds on the
5
clock.
se-
9
and
seconds.
a-
9 seconds. Sorry.
Bishop h3, just simply king h2.
Two.
Finishes the game.
Right?
If queen
Bishop
F1?
takes f5 check.
5 seconds for Irina to make a move.
I don't see it.
G6.
G6.
Okay, she wants to take on
Queen
f5 with the
check
pawn.
on e7.
Queen check. The only move king h8, otherwise was
It
bishop
would be
b6.
mate.
Yeah, so check, king h7 back.
Some more checks.
By the way,
Can I
be
win?
very careful right now. If
Because
you lose
queen
a tempo,
e4 is the...
I have bishop
Right.
f3. Huge
Right.
threat in the position.
She went back with queen e7 check. I think that was a crafty move.
At least
you can
they
take,
have more time
just
now.
take the pawn on f5.
Yes.
Take that pawn on f5.
She
She's
does.
done
And
it.
she does it.
Yes, she played queen e7 to be sure there is no queen e4 check also. Bravo.
Exactly,
Alice for
exactly.
finding this. And now what?
very
You take with the
clever.
pawn or what?
Yes, I think you take with the pawn and then just put your bishop back. Once your bishop is on this long diagonal, your king is absolutely safe.
Yeah, Irina. Oh,
You're
she
in a
takes
vault.
with the
Ooh, she
with the
took
bishop.
with the bishop.
I'm not sure about this. Maybe with the bishop there were more threats.
Uh-oh. Queen f8 check.
And now
I
she
think this is
takes-
very professional. Just gain some time on the clock.
But also some time for your opponent to think about the position. But yes, if you know that it's winning for you and you just need time, yes, you.
You do it.
I like
Some-
bishop c6, bishop d5.
I love it. I love the bishop.
Bishop
Okay.
f5, of course not with
Alice
the queen.
has her own plan.
She's seeing
and
something.
her plan is to cover e4.
Get the queen
which
on
is-
c6.
Get
and
the-
And then b6.
get the
yes.
pawn on b7.
But now actually,
So if you go okay, Irina now. Both ladies have a minute so they can catch their breath a little. And Alice is playing this nicely in the sense that when you move your king, let's say you move your king to h8, then her idea is to queen c6. That covers her king.
Mm-hmm.
It prepares b6, but it also does so with a tempo.
Exactly.
Wow, that's winning.
I think she
That's
should
a
try
winning ending.
to go forward with her king. Somehow, queen f6.
But it's a march to nowhere. King
Yes.
f6, queen c6 check. Where are you marching?
Yes, I'm okay. I see what you want. Yes, if I go to g5, I'm afraid the 4 move will follow up.
My puzzle rush
Yes.
capability.
Yes.
I have a very.
Doesn't really help.
Uh-oh. Irina now is recognizing that things have really gone wrong.
Yes,
She's a
and
pawn
she cannot
down.
play king g5
No,
because
she
of
cannot.
f4, so she has to
F4
go
is a
back.
mate.
Oh no, she played it.
She walks into mate. F2,
We
F4
just discussed it with
is a
Yasser, yes.
checkmate.
Did she miss
Queen
queen e8?
Queen E8.
And then queen g6. Okay.
Wow.
What a game. So Alice takes a lead in the match.
We will just have to check with Ben. Is that the first time Alice has ever had a lead in any of the matches that she played with Irina? And I think the answer is yes.
Yes, must be.
Wow, what a
I
game.
think she once equalized a match after Irina took a lead.
Yes.
But I don't think she ever held a lead.
I want to say she never.
Applause
did.
for Alice. She got an edge in a position we thought was pretty
Yes,
even.
equal, but pretty even, yes. Mhm.
Right. If things went sour, it went sour with the move b6.
Yes, somewhere
Right
here,
about
we felt
here,
that like c5 maybe was...
I mean, we thought that Irina had a pretty safe, solid position. A6, rook d7, queen e8. b6, a little bit loosening. Then even here, things aren't bad. There's no
Maybe a little bit
reason
worse.
to complain. I would have thought that Irina would play queen c7, king f8, and more or less comfortably hold the position. She went for e5, and then things really, right now,
Yes, okay. This was a mistake, yes.
This is when things went wrong.
Yes.
Could she
Bishop
play
takes,
king h7 instead?
queen
yes?
f8.
Can we go back just 1 second?
Yes.
So the previous move, after queen c8, can I go king h7?
Yes,
or is
that's
that
what
too
I
much?
thought.
King h7, bishop check.
Bishop
G6.
check, g6.
Ugh.
Yes,
Right,
what else to
right.
play?
It does look very ugly. It
It does
look very
feels a
ugly.
little.
B5.
King g7.
No, yeah,
King
I have
g7,
a 5
yes,
also.
yes, king g7.
King
I
g7
don't
takes.
But now you have queen g4. It's kind of annoying.
Truly, right? It's
I
not.
mean, I do have queen f7, but who knows how to assess this endgame, right?
White's for choice.
Oh,
It
for
might-
sure.
It, it might still be well within drawing zone. But where did things really go wrong? I wasn't 100% sure back here when it got to this position.
Queen a3.
Queen
is
f8, and then right here, I thought she had queen a3. What does did the engines mention queen a3 as a
No.
move? No.
No,
No,
so it
the
seems
only
like-
move right now is, in fact, queen to f7.
Of course,
Queen f7 is the only move, yes.
And how is the position after queen f7? Why not?
Queen f7 is equal, yes.
And queen
Equal.
a3
Yes,
is
yes,
also...
yes.
Ah, no. It's
Queen
would be
f7 is
equal.
equal. So she blundered with the move f5. And
Not easy. I'm
now
sure what she saw was
it's
queen
losing.
to a3. Perhaps we can go to
Sorry?
that.
What did she see?
I think the way she assessed this one in real time was queen c5 doesn't work. Let's go back just a second. After b5. Queen c5 doesn't work because of queen to c8.
Okay.
I think she understood this quite quickly. And then she understood that she can defend with queen a3 as well.
Right. Missing queen f7.
But
Yeah.
queen to a3, there's a problem with that.
Now.
Yes, there is a problem. Queen c8.
I just give you a check. Maybe on c8, sure.
And-
And now bishop d5, I think, might be problematic.
Check and then bishop d5 or bishop d5
I think
immediately?
I can go bishop d5 first.
Immediately.
You're still
This-
facing some checkmating threats.
Very, very, very,
F4
very.
ideas, yes.
Very,
If
very
the king goes
unpleasant.
forward.
I really wouldn't want to be defending this. She did play f5, and right here, I wasn't. The problem that she had is she's facing Queen A8, right? You would like to play the move E4 and Bishop F3, right?
There are some problems, yes.
But Queen A8.
And then the pawn just runs.
But if she had played King H7, the last gasp, how would it have happened? As we try to decode this ending,
yes.
Let's ask Alice herself. She is with Kostya. Over to you, Kostya.
Thanks, guys. Here with Alice Lee, who just won the rapid game against Irina Krush to take the lead in the match. Congrats, Alice.
Thank you.
First off, before we look at the game, I wanted to ask you about the first game. Were you surprised that Irina repeated in that position?
Yeah, I felt like my position was harder to play, especially since she got like her F3, E4 and I don't think I had much counterplay. But on the other hand, I do think it was like kind of hard for her to find a move in that position. So yeah, but I was pretty happy when she did repeat moves.
Cool. Well, let's take a look at the rapid game. Of course, you won a very nice game just now. Started off here as Bogo Indian. And yeah, maybe I could ask you, how did you feel about your position after the opening?
I thought it went pretty well because she was also spending a lot of time, so I felt a nice time advantage. I feel like I had a pretty big advantage out of the opening, but I kind of let it slip later when I allowed like C5. Because here, her bishop is just so bad, and she can't get any of the E5 or C5 breaks in.
Right. Well, yeah, let's go a bit later. And yeah, she ends up getting this C5 in. But at what point did you think things started to look good for you?
So when I played, actually I was a bit nervous here because after she played Queen C7, Queen E5, I thought she could maybe just take my pawn on H5, and it would go into, I'm not sure here, I think it'd probably be a slightly pleasant endgame, queen ending, but yeah, I calculated something with Queen F7, Queen C8, Queen F8, and I think this should probably be a draw, even though of course it's easier for her to play. Like, I guess I do have maybe some Queen C7, maybe back into like Queen A8, I don't know, and then Queen D5. But yeah, I think once I was able to play B4, I really liked my position, and it was also because she moved her queen back to E7, and then it like wasn't attacking my H5 pawn. So here I thought that I had good winning chances.
So all of a sudden, yeah, you're getting your B pawn, and yeah, I remember I was watching here like Queen B7. You hesitated on this move, right? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to, because actually here I was planning to play Queen F5, but then I realized that she might have like some Queen E6, which I thought it should still be okay. But then I saw this Queen B7 idea. I was kind of hesitating because I thought like Bishop takes H5. Originally I wanted to play Bishop C6, like what happened in the game, but then I saw that she could play Queen F8. And then here I was thinking, like, if I play B5, then does she have like Queen C5 or Queen A3? I don't think she has Queen C5 because I have Queen C8 and I pick up her queen. But otherwise,
oh, that's a nice tactic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like looking Queen A3, but I'm guessing that this should be still good for me, even if she does play Queen A3. At the very least, actually, I have Queen A8 and B6. Yeah, so here I was pretty happy because she doesn't have any like checks. And yeah, my bishop just defends everything.
Well, great. Now you've got the lead in this match. 2 more games coming up. How do you rate your chances?
I think the first day went pretty well. Like, I was able to survive the classical game with black, and then this rapid game, of course, went pretty well. But of course, it's not easy, and there are still 2 more games tomorrow.
All right. Well, stay focused, Alice. We'll wish you the best of luck, and throw it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Kostya. Congratulations, Alice. We do believe it's the first time in their history that she gets a lead against Irina in a match. Tell us the results, please, Anastasiya.
Let's check the results.
An eventful day 8.
For grand finals, at the moment we have an equal score for Wesley and Levon Aronian. They made 2 draws today in first classical game and rapid game. And in another grand final, Wesley took the lead against Irina Krush. She won the second rapid game, and it means she's leading in the match. If she wins the third game tomorrow, the match will be over.
And then they will go to a playoff on the day 10.
Exactly.
Tell us about our schedule tomorrow, in fact. Just remind everybody what is in store.
Yes, we can expect one classical game for sure for both matches, and then depending on the results, one rapid game. Blitz playoff will follow if necessary.
On a 2-2 tie.
Then if Levon, Aronian or Irina Krush lose their matches, in this case we will have rapid grand final on day number 10. And of course we are going to have for sure American Cup Blitz event with many great grandmasters participating, including those who were eliminated from this event.
Exactly. I couldn't let the broadcast end without congratulating Berusian on his predictions. Let's just take a quick look at what VAR has done. Quite impressive.
Same for Yasser, yes. Okay,
we need to move on.
Your
ancient history.
Your players had 2 lives. This is
they
the
do
first
have,
time.
Yes, they do have. But
I'm actually
we will see
feeling good.
Ancient history. No.
That was great history.
These predictions.
Beautiful final thoughts.
Oh my goodness. What a day of chess, right? And I have to say, both of these matches, they're so competitive. I did not expect to see Alice Lee win from that position.
No.
Okay, out of the opening, I was expecting her to get an advantage. She did, but Irina felt like she was coming back. Not only equalizing, but I was getting flashbacks from their previous games, from the classical encounter, where Irina managed to outplay the young Alice Lee. Unfortunately for Irina, she didn't have enough time, and Alice piled on the pressure. Really enjoyed to see this youngster, in fact, defeat Irina in the style of Irina defeating Alice. We've seen Irina on the other side so many times defeating Alice in this type of tippy-toe type of positions. Right now, it's Alice. Roles are reversed, and I cannot wait to see how Irina is going to respond tomorrow.
Bobby Fischer said one day you're the professor, the next day you're the student.
That's right.
The pages turned, Anastasiya. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Yasser.
We're going to do it all. Well, goodbye, Cristian. He was so fast. He's out of here. Goodbye. Thank you all for sharing your day with us. We'll see you all tomorrow for the next classical games. Take care and good night.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.